This program brought to you by Harvey Norman. There's a store near you. Bunnings Warehouse, where lowest prices are just the beginning. And Jim Beam, the bourbon.
Are these the darkest hours for the West Coast Eagles?
Errors that are made under no pressure.
This once mighty club is on its knees.
It's probably the first time I've really questioned whether they were still prepared to keep the fight up. There's some senior players that are still really struggling.
Did someone mention crisis?
What's a crisis? What's the definition?
Oh no, we're seeing the demise of the West Coast Eagles.
For the Kangaroos, the Adelaide loss was just plain embarrassing.
We were pantsed, so we're hurting a bit from that, and we've had to sit on that for 2 weeks.
And the coach is not happy.
The way we used the ball by hand and foot was just absolutely appalling.
Nathan Thompson, well that's his night in a nutshell.
You better get fixed pretty quick.
Footy is back on the Gold Coast and the heat will be on. It's Saturday night football. The Eagles are a desperate lot. After a victory in round one, they've lost 6 in a row, closing in on the club's worst losing streak of 8 set back in 2001. They're in disarray. They need a win. It doesn't matter where, when or against whom. They will take anything they can get at the moment. But what about the Kangaroos? The Gold Coast was set to become their home away from home. All of a sudden, that's changed. Now it's simply a case of North Melbourne coming here for 4 points and nothing else. That is all she wrote. Good evening and welcome to Saturday Night AFL from Gold Coast Stadium here at Carrara. I'm Jason Dunstall, joined by Brisbane Lions triple premiership hero Alistair Lynch. Lynchy, welcome to you. We've had storms sweeping through the southeast coastal region of Queensland, lightning aplenty. We've actually had to clarify the lightning policy in case it comes into play tonight.
Yeah, certainly, and it's very interesting. I mean, we didn't know what the lightning policy is, but for everyone at home, if the lightning stops the game in the first half and they cannot resume after a window of an hour where they can come back on the ground, both teams will be awarded 2 points. If in the second half they can't continue, can't resume the game, it'll be the leader at that time will get all 4 points. So interesting situation. Looks like the lightning has gone away. It's sitting off the coast now, so might be some fireworks in the background, but it shouldn't hit the ground.
We'll keep our fingers crossed. Well, for the West Coast Eagles, there's been a real fall from grace in 2008. The midfield that was once considered the best in the game is just a shadow of its former self.
Yeah, without doubt. I mean, the obvious statement would be that Judd and Cousins have left, and these guys have had to step up. There's more focus on these particular ball winners now, and certainly the sting has seemed to have gone out of their step at the moment. So they have to stand up today. There's some exciting young players. Ebert and Maston are coming through, but these senior players have to stand up.
Yes, certainly, and of course Daniel Kerr is out suspended at the moment. What about the Kangaroos? They normally use the ball well, but efficiency of disposal has been a bit of a hiccup for them in 2008.
Yeah, without doubt. I mean, they've been very good at using hand and feet hitting targets, as you touched on, Jace. But last week, or the last game against Adelaide Crows, and the Crows are a very good pressurising sort of team at the top level. Now, how you execute your skills at the top level will mean whether you go deep into the finals, and certainly last week was a very disappointing game for the Kangaroos.
Yeah, not always fashionable, the Kangas, but they do find a way to get things done, don't they? Well, it's time now to hear from the combatants. We're going to hear from West Coast coach John Warsall, but before we do, we're going to hear from that man right there, Drew Petrie, talking about the motivation tonight. I don't think they're too concerned about whether the crowd turns up or not.
4 points generally is good motivation enough. We're sitting on the edge of a cliff at the moment, pretty much. So the next month is going to be important, but more so just tonight. We've got to start that ball rolling with a good performance. And they've been copping criticism over in Perth, and they're going to be out firing on all guns. So we'll have to go in our game.
You know, we're talking about the 2008 West Coast Eagles squad. We're not talking about squads from the past. This team now wants to start to make its own road and follow down that road, and it has to start tonight. We've been putting a lot of work in on the training track, and in terms of winning games, you want to try and get it going tonight.
Would you like to dispel the myth straight away that you've given this season up completely?
Yeah, I would. But really the only way we can do that is by showing it in our performances, and that's what we're aiming to do. We're working very hard to get our best squad on the park and take it up to every opposition and start winning games. So, you know, people can make up their own minds, and myths are, you know, pretty much for narrow-minded people. So we're working very hard at winning every game we can play in.
All right, Lynchy, take us through the lineups. How are they going to present themselves, these two sides?
I'll be very interested. I mean, Quinton Lynch has got to step up. He's only kicked 9 goals, 8 for the season, so he's a quality player that has to step up, have a good matchup on either Petrie or Watt. Yeah,
new faces there in Kennedy and McKinley, but some staunch defence from the Kangaroos, as always, will make life tough for them.
And through the midfield will be interesting. We touched on Fletcher's got to get his hands on the ball. Be a great contest. He may get a Rawlings type.
Harvey been in exciting form. He was terrific again in the Hall of Fame tribute match. Maston, a youngster coming into the midfield. Stenglein may get the job on a Harvey. And Corey Jones has been one of the best up forward for the Kangaroos.
He's outstanding, and Nikoski and Selwood are quality players, can shut down and get run off halfback as well.
Yeah, interesting form, Darren Glass, a little bit up and down. We've come to expect him to do a job every week. I think he's lowered the colours a couple of times. What about the bench there? Simpson and Grant both starting on the bench, as well as Nathan Thompson.
It's typical of a modern interchange bench. It was where the probably 18 to 22 sat, but some quality rotations can go through that part of the field these days.
Some of those young faces that you mentioned starting on the pine for the West Coast Eagles. Well, it's been wet and nasty. The Lightning is in abeyance at the moment. We hope that it'll hold sway. We've got the first bounce coming your way right after the break.
Welcome back to Carrara on the Gold Coast. We're hoping for a good crowd tonight, hopefully bigger than it was round 9, 1992, when it was the lowest ever crowd here at the Gabba, 3,059. Round 9, 1992, and one of the men who played in that game, you saw him with the long hair. He had the V8 Brock Commodore with the Bubba number plates in those days. Rowan Smith, welcome back to you, Rowan.
Oh, thanks very much, Dwayne. It just doesn't that bring back memories with the flowing Moulay in the wet, boys. But hopefully I've got a little bit tonight, but not too much. You can have a look at it there. Look at it just flowing. It's just magnificent, isn't it? You got to love it. Look, boys, and one boy that won't be sporting a mullet out there tonight is young Ryan Davis, who's making his debut for the West Coast Eagles tonight. I had a lot to do with him last year. He played for the New South Wales ACT Rams, and just look that he's going to play down back. He's very quick. He's very hard at it, and yeah, he's looking forward to seeing him out there in his dues tonight.
Thanks, Rowan. Yes, Ryan Davis, who'll start on the bench in his first game for the West Coast Eagles tonight, and Alan Obst playing his first game tonight as well for North Melbourne. There is the bench for the West Coast Eagles. Ryan Davis, Brad Ebert, Matt Priddis also, and Mark Seaby on the bench, and that is Ryan Davis far left. Umpires tonight, Chris Donlan, Michael Vozzo and Chris Camelons. And we're about to get underway on the Gold Coast, the first of 3 games the Kangaroos play here this year. From the ball up, Selwood couldn't get it away. Rawlings does. Lizzie Thomas, a hard hip and shoulder on Braun. Finally the takeaway, Seaby, wide ball. Harding should get there first. Did. Slippery conditions, been raining all day, only just stopped. Harris slips it up to Lower, caught, throw it away, free kick to Staker.
Terrific chase down from behind for Staker. You've got to put pressure on the back. Don't give the Kangaroos or the opposition time to dispose of the ball. Ed Lower just thought he had a little bit more space than he did.
Good to hear John Worsfold tell the world that the West Coast Eagles are still intent on making the finals, playing their way back into contention. Stenglein, Selwood, wide to Cox, who slipped forward. McIntosh is playing on him. And a good possession. Jones, short Maston. Too far out to score. Was kicking some good goals in the warm-up though. Most of them from the 50-metre arc. Sends this one to the top of the square. Fletcher from 4 deep can't take the mark. Staker gets the kick away toward goal. Only behind the first score of the night.
Well, it's a good start from Staker. A little bit of involvement, that good chase and tackle, which is always an indicator of the intent of the player, how hard he's going to chase when he hasn't got the ball. And just found himself in the end. A little snapshot, just was wide of the goals, but good few touches early.
One of the players back in for the West Coast tonight, Staker. Sam Power Long, Hale, the local boy from Southport. Couldn't take the mark. Off the deck from Embley. Rolling ball, Quinton Lynch. He can kick a long roost. Sends it long. One-on-one. Watt front spot. Staker again. Golden start on the Gold Coast for Brent Staker.
And they are great hands in the conditions. Absolutely clean as a whistle as that ball came in. The grass is very, very wet from the pretty heavy rain that has fallen for the last couple of hours here at Carrara, but that is clean as a whistle. Just needs to finish it off with a good kick. A great start for West Coast, who are, it's pretty much desperation stakes for them tonight.
Certainly is. Their season on death row. And goal umpire forced to do some work, but it's there. He's got their whole score.
Well, that's good work. We just see here, didn't use his hands, got the forearm into the back of his opponent there, and which you're allowed to do. Obviously, you can't put your hands, the palm of your hands, onto the back of your opponent, and that is, Jace, as you touched on, very good hands in these conditions. There's been an enormous amount of rain over the last hour. It will be slippery on the surface, but it will drain away pretty well. There's obviously no surface water, but great start for Staker. Very important start for the West Coast Eagles.
First goal of the night for Brent Staker. You can see a few spare seats in the house here at Carrara.
No surprise to see Selwood with the job on Harvey and Stengline on Daniel Wells.
A few people are still making their way into the ground. Hopefully it will be a reasonable crowd. Selwood, Harris, all in there. Braun off the deck, as is a good option in these conditions. Harding went in hard. Wirapunda went in hard, and Lynch collected him.
Big Quinton Lynch putting some physical pressure on his teammates there, and he's throwing his weight around in the pack. He's an important player. Just to straighten up the team, Staker's started well, but he will be an important factor as the game goes on.
Wirapunda breaks free, gets a shepherd, and misses from 20.
It's so much time, and I think he realised he had time and just sort of steadied, didn't straighten up. That was probably the mistake. Still was happy to kick the ball around his body, and an important miss. Let the Kangaroos off the hook there. Great crumbing from the stoppage from Wirapunda, but needed to do better with the kick on goal.
Here's the Kangaroos bench. The surprise there, Shannon Grant and Adam Simpson starting on the bench. Gibson toward the wing. Good fist from Hale to thump it down to Embley. Gives it off to Rosa. Sends it wide. Wirapunda. Lower. Good fist. Thumped it across the boundary line. Ed Lower. And we'll get a ball in. The player the Kangaroos were lucky to have on their list. Ed Lower only given a rookie list spot because the recruit Mark Cowell that the Kangaroos got from the Swans refused to turn up for training, so didn't want to play for them. They had a spare spot, so they gave it to Ed Lower at the last minute, and he's been a good pickup for the Kangaroos. Ball up inside 50 for the West Coast. Cox and McIntosh. Cox, who played last week against McIntosh, he had the week off. Maston lost it. Power slips away and kicks long. Hale and Graham. Graham had an arm. Wells is down behind play. We'll keep an eye on him. He's still down and still in the hands of trainers as we speak. This ball kicked forward, and they may be considering the stretcher for Daniel Wells.
He's been pretty slow to get up. He stayed down for a number of seconds before he actually moved. It looked like it
looked very innocuous, didn't it?
Well, just gone into tackle there.
No, it's in his leg, his right leg.
Oh, his right knee hit the ground. So
play continues. They're a man down at the moment, the Kangaroos. Embley can send it inside 50. Thinks about one way, heads the other. McKinley's down there. One-on-one, good battle, back of the pack. Staker again! And across the face from Brent Staker this time.
They've had some opportunities, the Eagles. Daniel Wells is limping off. He is coming off, looks to be in a lot of trouble.
Horrendous news for North Melbourne.
It's that right knee or ankle. That is certainly hobbling on.
Most of the Kangaroos players, North Melbourne players, fresh from a week off. But a couple of the keys for the West Coast Dean Cox probably the big key. Did have a big game last week. Rawlings over the top, Harding chips it wide. Glass, Petrie. Jones comes hard, wrapped up, dumped. Almost into the fence. We'll get a ball in.
Michael Bruin's the eagle that drew the short straw. He's got Brady Rawlings, and he wears players like a second skin.
Petrie going forward. He's got the matchup on Glass. Petrie's shown some good skills at centre-half back this season, but we know from last year he can kick big numbers as well forward.
So Cox dragged down by Hale, and speaking about Cox playing last week, to finish that, McIntosh and Hale said they'll double team him tonight and try and wear him out early.
Both holding.
And that's exactly what they've both been teaming to do in this first 4 minutes. But Cox won that palm down. No one going anywhere. We'll get a ball up on 50. Rowan Smith.
Yeah, just an injury update on Daniel Wells. Went straight down to the rooms with the doctor and the physio. Looked very, very ginger, boys. So they're just testing him out now.
Harris slapped it out in the Jones direction. Couldn't pick it up. It's hacked high out of the area. Kangaroos with the numbers, although no mark's been paid to Petrie. He dumped it. Harvey to Simpson to Harris. It wasn't meant for him. But Daniel Harris took the mark.
Just ran into space there. Good decision by the umpire not to pay a 50-metre penalty, as I think a few of the crowd were starting to sing out. Just nice, smart pass over 25 metres. Ball was knocked out of his hand, but I think that was half induced by Harris.
With Wells off the ground, it allows Worsfold to take Stenglein off, and he brings on the more attacking Matt Prittis into the midfield.
Important kick this. First inside 50, first shot at goal, and the first goal for North Melbourne.
He's one of those underrated players, Daniel Harris. He's your classical in and under, does the hard grunt work, but he's also added an attacking string to his bow. You just see a lot of players drawn to the contest that had just come out of defence. He stayed in a little pocket of space and then just pushed into the vision of Adam Simpson, who chipped it with the right boot. Might be better than his left, that right boot of Adam Simpson, when he just chips it to a target like that. But that's a great start for the Kangaroos. They had to answer after West Coast seemed to have all the play in the first few minutes of the match.
Daniel Harris, opening goal for North Melbourne. 9 plays 6. Very slippery conditions. Certainly wasn't like this on the brochure. Supposed to be beautiful one day, perfect the next. It's been very ugly today here on the Gold Coast. Thunder, lightning. We're expecting slippery conditions all night. Umpire Vozzo might elect to throw this up. He does again. From the ball up, Harris extracts it, gets the handball out. Harvey's direction. Gathers. Braun dragged him down, got the handball out to Harding. Inside 50, but a wide ball. Race on. McIntosh won't get there before Glass, who elects not to take it through.
Good option. Got numbers.
Jones. Across the defensive goal. Rosa on the line. Out of play on the full.
Well, I don't know why he switched play, Brett Jones, because they had numbers out the side of the ground that he actually had the ball on, and he tried the difficult switch. You could just see up the line they had 3 on 1. A poor skill error.
So Campbell has a shot at goal from inches inside the line.
Banana.
To put them in front. And he's hit across the face.
You're exactly right, Jace. It was a poor skill error, but as you touched on, it was a poor decision. It should have just kept coming out. This Glass had made the decision to keep the ball in play and play on. There were big numbers out this side, but in the end, it was a skill error that kicked the ball out in the full. Lucky to get away with that one in the West Coast Eagles defence.
Staker playing both ends at the moment. Drifting down into the fence, giving it to Selwood. Slides a low trajectory pass to Schofield.
He's got the job on Corey Jones, Will Schofield.
It's a good pass.
Fletcher, Nikoski, open forward line. High kick, McKinley's down there, so too Lynch, who was half held. Umpire said Ferrito did it legally. Sends it wide, and on the rebound, North Melbourne have the numbers. Shannon Grant, it's got Petrie short. Takes the mark.
They don't have the numbers deep, though, so you can't afford to go long into the forward 50, where they're severely outnumbered by the Eagles.
Scott McMahon, Nathan Thompson missed it completely. To the back to Jones. Hasn't quite found his touch yet this year, Nathan Thompson. Been okay coming back from that knee reconstruction, but not back to his best form. Harding slips the pass to the pocket, and just inside the line, Campbell takes the mark.
Campbell did not have an opponent. He was running around for that 10-second minute block just before he received the ball. Poor checking for the Eagles.
He's already had one banana from the other side.
He'll kick this one.
Well, he's had a sighter.
From the other side.
He pokes the pass. Nathan Thompson.
Well, he's come off the bench, Nathan Thompson, and he had Tyson Stenglein early. But now Jamie Graham looks to have swung onto him, but couldn't get there in time. And Thompson, one thing he does do is he continues to present. He's a very good lead for a big bloke. He moves particularly well off the mark.
He's kicked 18 goals, 6 this year. So when he gets it, he is accurate. And he puts North Melbourne in front.
Good reply the last 5 minutes of the play. They were 9 points down, the North Melbourne team, and through some smart or efficient work inside 50, they've been able to hit targets and kick goals, and they find themselves up now, which is very good. As you see, Thompson leads well. It looks like he lumbers, Jace, but he seems to lumber at a reasonable pace, and he jumps early and takes the ball at its highest point, which is very difficult to defend against.
Four-point lead. Nathan Thompson's first goal of the night. From the restart. It's all about the clearance. Good tackle by Ebert. Drags down Thomas. Rowan Smith.
I can't give you too much, Dwayne, but Daniel Wells is still in the room. So, yeah, so it doesn't look too good for him.
No, and it's very early in the evening to be one man down if he can't come back on well. So that'll tell later on in the game.
Riggio to Harvey. Gibson. Harvey. Simpson just inside the line. The captain reloads them. Riggio, he could go all the way here. He senses it, runs to 55 and bangs home a big one. He's missed. He's hit the inside. There you go. Just caught the padding.
Certainly had control of the footy the last 5 minutes, the Kangaroos. Nathan Thompson, after kicking that goal, has now got the premier defender in Darren Glass on him.
Braun, just in time, wide. Rapunda tries to chip it inside 50, but Lee Harding read that superbly. Marks on defensive 50. Congested midfield at the moment. Short pass to the first gamer, Obst. Does the right thing, gives to Riggio. Allows his team to maintain possession. That kick not so good, although Graham didn't touch it. Thompson takes the mark. Pokes it back towards Hale. Tough ball for him. Stenglein, sold in the dummy. Sends it wide to Quentin Lynch, who, if he runs a fair way, can have a shot. Thought about it.
Did he get part of his leg on that?
He kicked that.
He told the umpire too. I would have thought that's a kick, and now it could cost him a goal.
Frito to Hale.
I'd like another look at that, Dwayne, because he did get tackled, but I'm sure it caught part of the leg on the way down. Let's see what part of the leg. That's caught his toes. That's a kick.
You can't penalise him because it was an ordinary kick.
No, exactly right. That's a very tough decision on Quentin Lynch, but the Kangaroos, or North Melbourne, good enough to take advantage of it. The quick turnover, finding David Hale in space.
Would have been a few guys from yesteryear who would have struggled to play AFL footy. You got penalised every time you couldn't kick it properly. Hale with mud all over his face, and Hale is what we might get in about an hour's time, we're told. And he kicks it beautifully. Forced the goal umpire to do a bit of work, but they're hot now.
Outstanding by the North Melbourne side. Their efficiency running out of the half-back has certainly been a lot better. We see here the chase. The reward has been really for the chase there of Campbell. Great chase, but it was an incorrect decision. There is no doubt about that. Once again, the efficiency inside 50 was superb, and the ability to convert from a 45-degree angle has put the North Melbourne side in a commanding position just 10 minutes into the first quarter.
Hi, guys.
20 plays 9. Still throwing it up in the middle. Simpson gets away from Ebert, gets the kick away. It should be holding the ball. Campbell got a trip, gave it up to Harris, slips it inside 50. Jones is down there. Schofield can seek the boundary. Success. Get a ball in.
Well disguised there, just running that ball over the line. But certainly under pressure. The clearance has certainly been going the way of North Melbourne out of that centre situation. Been able to run through half forward.
Thump down in the direction of Campbell. He can't trap it, and we'll get another ball in. Trusting Will Schofield in just his 6th game to play well on maybe the hottest of the North Melbourne forwards, Corey Jones. Back into play. Not high, according to the umpire. Harvey gets the kick away and kicks a gem.
Well, I've just been having a look at Brent Harvey because in the last couple of minutes, Andrew Embley's actually gone onto him and Selwood's moved on to Shannon Grant. We'll see if those matchups remain, but he's just very, very dangerous. As we speak, Selwood goes back to Harvey. So whether there was just a mismatch or a miscommunication, he actually had Andrew Embley at the time of the goal. Now Selwood goes back to him, and his opponent's got a goal next to his name. Wouldn't be overly thrilled with that.
Game 249 for Brent Harvey. Big game next week. Next Sunday, his 250th. It'll be against the Dogs at the Telstra Dome. Turned 30 years of age this week as well. From the ball up. No clearance just yet, although Gibson with the handoff and looping handball from Power, and they get away with it. Gibson will send it towards attacking 50. Thompson playing well at the moment. Wobbles it inside 50. Half a trap from Embley. Half a free kick not given against Jones. Tied up. Lindsay Thomas can't get it out. Will get a ball up. So after owning the first 4 minutes, the West Coast Eagles have seen North Melbourne take the lead and extend it. Daniel Wells warming up again on the boundary, which is good news for North Melbourne. And the ball up. Embley, Jones. Chip kick. Good opportunity this. Chip out of the area by Ebert. Missed the target. Rapunda took them on. Got rid of it. Gathers again. Looks up and has Quentin Lynch in a one-on-one. Jumps and he's got it.
Now, he needs to go back and pick this Quentin Lynch. He's the experienced forward up there. You've got youngsters McKinley and Josh Kennedy around him, but he's going to take the responsibility here. They've been under siege for the last 10 minutes, West Coast. They've got a foray forward. He got the one-out contest. He did good body work on Ferrito before the ball got there, but he now needs to finish it with a good kick. He's gone back to the Michael Holding run-up.
Oh, he has.
Throwing the glove about 30 metres away, walk back another 40.
Needs to take a bounce on this.
Needs to kick it straight.
He's been 50-50 in front of goal this year. Quentin Lynch. It's bending back. Oh. There was a bit of both. He's kicked it.
Lynchy, I thought he missed that by a mile off the boot.
He's all but shanked that. It's come off the inside of the slipper, but it's gone through halfway up the post. That's an extraordinary effort. He tried to really put it over the scoreboard at the left of the screen, but this is good body work. That's a real confidence builder for a forward. If you can use your body in a one-on-one situation and take a solid mark, and more importantly, go back and kick a goal like that, you know you're in for a reasonable day when you kick a shank through the middle.
So a shank, but a goal, or maybe he just was able to bend it deliberately. Blocking free off the square, Selwood and lower, and it'll be Selwood's free kick.
It was just a one-on-one situation. Players were bodying each other.
Not even holding, it's blocking.
Over the head of McKinley, but here's Lynch again. Just almost threw it to McKinley. Twist through traffic. Tries to shuffle out a handball. Staker gets it out, but in the Ferrito direction. Toward the boundary, and, well, it was always going to be run out by Rawlings. We'll get a ball in.
It was a strange decision. It was just two players bullocking each other at half forward for the West Coast Eagles, and they plucked a free kick out of that one.
Cox thumps it towards full forward. Big launch, off hands. Lynch with strength. Can't get the kick away this time. Ferrito on hands and knees. Power, Rawlings, McIntosh. Thumps it out of the area, bouncing ball. Jones attacked it beautifully. Plenty of options, finds one. Kennedy, he sends it wide. McKinley, great movement, West Coast.
It was terrific attack from half-back Brett Jones. He just took the bull by the horns. He attacked the ball, he took front position off his opponent. But then when you're running full pace towards the 50, the temptation is just to blaze away with the long kick. He actually had a look at the options, chipped it into Kennedy, and very impressed with the pass of Josh Kennedy. Beautifully weighted over the top of one Kangaroo player into the arms of the leading McKinley.
Ben McKinley can kick a straight ball. 14 goals, 3 coming into this game.
It's there.
It was straight, but was it touched? It's there.
Very important goal. Just seemed to just get to the line. McIntosh was there, put his big claw up, and it was a close decision. But just the attack on the ball, Brett Jones was fantastic to hit the targets, and they've bounced back. They were dominated for the last 5 minutes by North Melbourne, but the West Coast Eagles have been able to get their hand on the ball and be very efficient going forward, as the North Melbourne side have been in the last 10 minutes.
$15 goals, 3 now this season for Ben McKinley. Just game number 7 for him. It was the round 5 now Rising Star nomination after his 5-goal effort in the losing game against Port Adelaide. He's having a good season. Grant with the takeaway. Bangs it long inside 50. Off hands. McMahon tries to head it back towards Simpson. And a little bit too high on Fletcher.
Bit high to Fletcher, but the good news for the Kangaroos is Daniel Wells is back on the ground. His right knee is certainly heavily strapped, but he's out there and running.
He was chasing Maston then, and that's why Maston was able to get a kick away. Staker, he's looking a lot better at the moment. Selwood, he sends it inside 50 to McKinley. Half volley, big hip and shoulder. McKinley and Simpson got it for too high.
He's a little bit proppy, Ben McKinley. That shook him up, that hard contest, but credit to the young bloke. He just attacked it. He came off second best in the hit. He copped the arm of Simpson to the head accidentally. Two players going hard at the footy.
He was just reaching out a little bit, just left himself a little bit open.
Alan Obst in game number 1 sends it toward the wing. Graham, little nudge on Petrie, then the fist. Cox, handball to Jones, tap the Steng line, hand to Schofield. Short. Hebert. Kangaroos blocking the holes now. Pops it towards McKinley. Reaches for it. Good punch by Obst. Thumped it down. Rosa. Maston. Selwood. Looks it wide again. And now the chance for Ryan Davis for his first goal in AFL footy. Just on. Kicks it truly.
Smithy would be wrapped down there on the boundary line.
He joins
Ryan
the club.
Davis has joined the club. First kick in league football, and he's got a goal, obviously on the scholarship scheme originally with the West Coast Eagles out of New South Wales, and elevated to the rookie list, and now he's got a run in league football and he's kicked a goal. So it's a great little confidence booster for the youngster who's from North Shore, just in the northern suburbs of Sydney.
First kick, first goal in AFL footy for Ryan Davis. As you mentioned, New South Wales scholarship player from North Shore in Sydney, and has been in reasonable form in the waffle this year. Grant, Wells, first touch since it's been back on.
Still proppy though, Daniel Wells.
Simpson wide to Jones, and Jones of the other variety can't collect it either. Grant, tucked up against the boundary, centering kick. Hale had the reach.
There's good work from Hale, and a nice kick to the top of the square, a very dangerous spot. But he was just well and truly supported by his teammates, who basically put a block on. Trying to look who that actually was that put the block on.
Lindsay Thomas.
Lindsay Thomas. It was good work. Just a small body, just put his body in between Hale and his direct opponent, and made it impossible to get a spoil on. As we saw just a few minutes ago, he's a good converter from this sort of range.
We're seeing a quality shootout here at Carrara. Not a massive crowd in, but those that have come getting their money's worth. And he misses. He's put it through. Yep. They're back in front.
So there's a For a tall bloke, he's very, very mobile, David Hale. He continually pushes into pockets of space, presents well, and he's made the most of the opportunities thus far. Shannon Grant, a very good balk on the boundary, and then kicking it to the hot spot, playing the percentages, kick it back into the corridor. You've got big blokes up forward, give them a chance to run and jump at the footy. Very hard to stop when you get a kick to the advantage of a tall bloke.
Straight back this way, guys. Coming straight back this way.
Parallax error got me there. But it's a seesawing contest at the moment. 32 to 27. Vozzo just explaining why there was no free kick. We'll get another ball up 3 minutes from quarter time.
Big numbers around the contest here. The Kangaroos have cleared centre half forward just so they've got the opportunity to run out of this congestion into space. Just opened up their forward line.
Cox to Fletcher. Selwood. Staker. 70 from goal. Pops it inside 50. Warapunda's there. Rosa. And Gibson content to see it out.
He started off well, Brent Staker. He's up to 9 disposals in this latter stages of the first quarter. He's been quite good. Contested possessions 4 for him.
Cox tying up with Petrie this time. And Petrie collects. Grant, Harvey. Calls for the short. Thompson provides it. Open forward line. Thumps it long. Hale's the danger man at the moment. Oh, he's crushed his own man. He's put Jones into the turf. And we'll get a ball in.
Talk about that game by Brent Staker. 9 possessions. That's 3 more than anyone else on the ground. And he's playing as a half forward. And I mean a traditional half forward. He's not playing as an extra midfielder. He's a hit-up half forward, doing a great job.
Tie up in the ruck. Selwood ducked out of one tackle, slips it towards Jones, and he's corralled by McMahon. We'll get a ball in.
Shannon Grant and Adam Simpson both started on the bench, but they've already come on and gathered 6 possessions apiece, along with Brent Harvey, the most for the Kangaroos.
Cox down towards Harvey, though. Now Wells. Just pops it inside 50, and Petrie can have the shot.
And more importantly, the way he actually moved towards that ball. He's hobbling away from the contest now, but good mobility to get to the ball, and then the composure and execution of very fine skills to hit the target.
Big year in front of goal last year, Drew Petrie. 38 goals, 16. Been a little quieter this year, though. Just the 1 goal, 1 so far. A lot of time in defence, and massive leap. And is it a free or out of play on the full?
Doesn't make a lot of difference, but he's had a good jump at that.
Didn't even know it was his free kick, Schofield.
Warapunda. 32 plays 27. Again, they change sides. Long launch from Schofield. Fletcher. Loops it back again. Cox. Couple of options inboard. Nikoski. And he sends a low trajectory kick. Almost impossible to mark. Staker did a pretty good job and won himself a free kick.
He did a great job, Dwayno, because that was a dreadful kick and it would have gone to Kangaroos numbers filling the corridor, but he dived, trapped it and then earned the free kick.
Big fly, no mark. Seabee back of the pack. Lynch goes with the toe. Half smothered and saw it was going out, so he took his frustration out on Shannon Grant.
That was a good effort by Seabee. Just a big jump at the contest, split the pack open. We just see this jump, attempted mark from Staker, who's been in very good touch and drew the free kick.
Seabee. Stenglein almost had it. Grant stole it from him, dropped it, got the kick away. Surely not 15. Rosa gets the play on call now. Wells. Critis dragged him down. Gone. Good to see Matt Critis back in this week as well.
That's kick.
Yeah, look, they've got some very promising midfielders coming through the Eagles. Pritis is one of those. Sam Butler's another, but they've been having a pretty ordinary run with injuries. They'd be thrilled to have Pritis back in the lineup.
Just his second possession of the night. And he has sprayed the kick. It's out of play on the full. So it's just all about this one kick from the back pocket for the Kangaroos. Don't want to turn it over with 10 seconds left. Reggio.
Just looked like he tried to overkick that one.
Yeah, the breeze is going across the ground to the side that he actually missed it to. We saw Quentin Lynch from this side kick a big left to righter. But from the far side, you're almost kicking into the breeze.
Quarter time on the Gold Coast. Rainy, slippery day, but good football in the opening term. A seesawing opening term. The West Coast starting well and finishing well. But North Melbourne lead by 5 points. 5-2-32 to 4-3-27. Quarter time at the Gold Coast Stadium at Carrara, and it's North Melbourne by 5 points, 5-2-32 to 4-3-27. Rowan Smith is downstairs, and at the moment the rain's holding off. Smithy.
Yeah, it certainly is, Dwayne, and Darren, a little bit of a slow start, but the boys got back into it at the end of the quarter.
Yeah, we played probably in spits and spurts. We were took a while to get into it, and then we started getting our hands on the ball, and we were able to, get the ball inside 50, but allowed them a few easy goals towards the end of the quarter. But we've just got to play a bit more consistently through the whole quarter.
Slippery conditions. Did Dean say anything about that at quarter time?
Oh, look, I think it's all from your junior days. You've got to keep your body behind the ball and make sure we get numbers over there to support and, try and win the ball, with our numbers there. So, I think that's just a normal thing for wet weather footy.
And you look after the midfield, you have to be David Hale. Happy with him running down, kicking 2 goals?
Yeah, look, there's a bit of acid on him this week and, he's come through the first quarter good. But David's, the thing we want from David is consistently through the whole game. So hopefully he can continue.
Thanks for joining us. And boys, just quickly on interchange, all running smoothly down here. It's just when the players actually want to rotate themselves off the ground. They can't do that anymore. It has to be a constructed interchange. So all running smoothly down here.
Well, some clubs have seen some troubles trying to interchange in their games so far this round, but the good news is that North Melbourne and the West Coast have been able to do it well. They've been playing this game very well too, both these teams.
They have making the most of their forays forward. They've identified targets in space in the attacking 50. But interesting down the bottom as well, both teams with a few clangers. You probably expect that to be a little bit higher than normal in the greasy conditions, but we'll keep an eye on those because they're relatively high numbers.
Quentin Lynch, one of those up forward, who's threatening to have a big night. 5-goal-to-4 opening term.
Do you hear the umpire there say to one of his other umpires, keep an eye on these two while I'm having a bounce?
There is a little push and shove fest going on at the moment from the ruck contest. Hamish McIntosh sat on by Dean Cox. Rosa, Maston throws it back towards Rosa. Harris gets the kick away, high, under it. Rawlings had to wait. Rawlings to Harvey. He'd like $1 every time that's happened in their careers. Nathan Thompson couldn't grab it. Darren Glass does. Slips it wide to Selwood. From the wing. Time. Cox for the 1-2. It's to break it up a bit. Fletcher. Bounce kindly for him. Selwood into trouble. Got the kick away. Quentin Lynch to make a contest. Good fist from Petrie. Out of play. Ball in.
Fantastic ball from Petrie. He's gone back. He started the game up at full forward and spent some time through the midfield, but finds himself at full back.
Cox again tried to shovel it to the back. Simpson half held, not fully held. So too Staker. The same situation. Harris got it out. McKinley. Cox played for the free, as did Harris. He got it for too high and Cox didn't. Daniel Harris
Let him run, boys.
Loves it in close. Still has the world record for the most tackles in a game. That was his 15 tackle game against Hawthorn last year. Does love it tight. Hale with the fly. No mark. Rose of the crumb. No way of getting rid of it. Hale's tackle spectacular, but no prior opportunity, as you heard. Ebert and Wells went at it.
There's no prior opportunity there.
Interesting hearing the comments at quarter time. David Hale's had the acid put on him this week. Well, I reckon he's answered pretty well with a couple of goals in the first quarter.
Leading goal scorer on the ground at the moment. Rosa got it out. Cox, after getting it from Maston, thumps it in the Lynch direction. Got a palm on it, but not enough for Rito. Bounces on the slippery turf. There's some confidence. A second bounce. Slips a short pass to Simpson.
Numbers forward of the ball if you can just take clean possession.
Gee, there is no pressure anywhere around the footy. They've got time to fumble, recover.
Watt, Ferrito, little push in the back. Lindsay Thomas will take the free. Too far out to score. Nikoski with the shove.
The chase for most part of the game has been very good from the West Coast Eagles. Just dropped off then. There wasn't enough chase out of defence. Too many free players.
Tries for the spear to Nathan Thompson. Umpire said there was a fingernail on it. Maston clears the area. Wirapunda half held lower. Wirapunda goes to ground. Lower's got him, traps him, holds him, keeps it in. So umpire Vozzo telling him you dragged it back into him, but quite often
that's what
they're
do
quite happy,
times.
yeah, to allow that to happen.
It's an acquired skill over the last couple of years
It
of
is.
AFL footballers.
Very lucky there, David Wirapunda. Lucky again because it was his free.
Oh,
late contact.
That's a bad one because they had turned it over West Coast and they would have rebounded quickly, North Melbourne.
Turned it over in the corridor. Now they've just been opened up.
Quentin Lynch. McKinley's down there. Gibson. Got a glove on it. Harvey.
Me, sorry, me.
Around the body towards Wirapunda and lower. Out of play.
It's one thing to kick the ball long into the forward line, Quentin Lynch there, but you've got to give your teammates a chance. McKinley was one out against 4 Kangaroos defenders who had all swept back. He had to hold it up and look for a shorter option.
Well, not down towards Prittis. Little fumble. Tackled. Going nowhere. Rowan Smith.
Alan Obst just quickly went from the quarter-time huddle straight down into the room. So I'm not too sure. The doctors and physio are down there, so I'm not too sure what's wrong with him. I'll just try and find out, boys.
It may have been a right shoulder or certainly something on his right arm he was carrying.
A sad first game for Alan Obst tonight in AFL footy. Kennedy toward the boundary line and out of play. He's had a chance on an AFL list before. Alan Obst, he was originally drafted by the Crows, picked 48 back in 2005, but failed to play a game, and it's his 21st birthday present this week, getting a game of AFL footy tonight for the first time.
Oh, throw
right near the goals.
Staker again, just an involvement, 10 disposals in the first quarter. He's already kicked a 1 goal too, so he's really putting a mark on this game early in the second quarter.
They were queuing up for the free kick. Dean Cox had the hands out. He wanted it.
As you would be, especially if you had a quiet few weeks. You'd be running over, pushing teammates out of the road.
So this is possession number 11 for goal number 2. And to put the West Coast Eagles back in front.
It's been an interesting season for Brent Staker. We've seen him used over the years in a variety of roles. He's a very flexible player, a very talented player. He can play tall, he can play on mediums, he plays at both ends of the ground. But he has struggled for form in 2008, so much so that he was dropped. And great to see him fight his way back in and certainly making the most of this opportunity second time around. He's been the best player out on the ground thus far.
Second goal for Brent Staker. Been a lot of talk about a Gold Coast team coming in and a Sydney team coming in. Brent Staker, one of the few AFL players from New South Wales playing in the AFL, if you can call Broken Hill New South Wales. Only just. It's almost South Australia as well. We'll get another ball up in the middle. A good footy town, Broken Hill. Fletcher preparing to come back on. Hale tried to shuffle it out. Harris, Harding, Jones on the run. Schofield's with him. Little tap to his own advantage, but can't break free with it. And we'll get a ball in. 50 from goal.
Brent Harvey waving to the bench. He's bringing himself off for North Melbourne. And Selwood going with him and giving him some curry on the way off as well.
Let's hope they've filled out the paperwork, gentlemen. Because that's been the problem. Players saying, oh, come off, but the paperwork hasn't been done under the new rules.
Well, Brent Harvey certainly had to slow down to wait for power to come on the ground because the paperwork hadn't been finished. There's something the clubs won't be too impressed with, but they may have to get used to it.
It's easy when the guy comes off with a name like Rosa, but when Gian Siracusa comes off, it's a little more difficult for some clubs.
Let's get a few stickers made up before the game, I think.
No, there's been no confusion in this game, as there has been in a couple of others from the ball in. Wells pops it towards Power, has to run onto it. Schofield was in his way, met high, no free. Power back in, drags it out a little. Pritis put a hand on it, trapped it. Corey Jones, strange little passage of play this. They won't put this one in the time capsule. A lot of fumbles. Must be slipperier on that flank than anywhere else.
Well, the game to date has been very clean. The skills have been very well executed, but no one could get the handle on that ball. It's the ground's drained extremely well. The drainage here.
Had a lot of rain in the lead up to the game, Richie.
No blocking.
And unfortunately for the AFL, it would have scared a few people away who were thinking of coming.
What's your best estimate, Dwayne?
Well, there's a fire eater on the Gold Coast and Cavill Avenue, draws a crowd of 3,000 or 4,000. Hopefully it's more than he normally gets. I think it might be about 5 at the moment. Rawlings, he sends it inside 50. Off hands, Grant had it but lost it. Nikoski, Glass, Riggio, good little one-on-one battle. Riggio short, was it 15? And 50. Well, how could Maston know that was 15 for starters? Maston, like everybody else here, including us, thought it was 12 and he had a right to touch him.
I think 12's been generous as well.
Yeah. Maston got a pat on the back from his captain, Darren Glass, just to acknowledge you probably were a little bit stiff there.
Well, he has kicked goals from here and missed them. But he doesn't miss this. North Melbourne in a seesawing battle, back out by 5 points.
In fact, you kick that one out of the ground and you should see the number of kids that are running around behind the stand over there thinking that they've got a footy they can take home with them. They have gone berserk.
Good luck, there's the river there.
Is it?
It's a bit further over the back, but that's only going to lessen our crowd if it puts the ball under his wing and takes off.
There's someone upstream will get there in a couple of hours.
Once again, good efficiency for the Kangaroos. There was a free kick, fortunate free kick, but good conversion.
Been a gun. Shannon Grant picked 3 back in the 1994 draft behind Jeff White and Anthony Rocker. They did that draft again. He might even be number 1, Shannon Grant. This is game 288 for him. And it's 38-33. On the ball up, Pritis. It's the kick away, a chase on. Watt gets there first. Tackled by Braun. Ferrito. Watt. Power. Through the midfield, comes wide towards Harris. Open forward line, down the corridor. He sends a short pass in when a long one would have been better. Davis. Pritis. Now on the rebound, the West Coast looking at options up forward. Open forward line for them.
Nothing ahead of him, though.
McKinley kicks it to where he'd like to be. Towards Staker at half forward. Couple to beat. Braun dives in. Rawlings stumped that towards the line. Okay, there's some sort of explanation for you. It wasn't deliberate.
No force here either.
No force either, according to the umpire.
He's made 4 excuses not to give that free kick.
Pritis, thou protesteth too much, umpire. Made it a little obvious it should have been a free. Harding, big thump back towards the wing. But again, the West Coast with numbers. McKinley, short to Glass. Made it tough for Embley. Had to go back and get it. And he wobbles it high. Rapunda waiting for it. Collision. Lower. Little Shepherd for Simpson. And now Harding. Been played between the 2 half back lines for the last 5 or so minutes. Riggio. McMahon.
Rapunda smashed into Josh Kennedy.
Yep.
It was back and back. Fair bit of courage. That's why it takes courage, because there's always someone coming the other way.
Yeah, but you also like your teammate to protect your back when you do that, don't you?
As we saw with Lindsay Thomas earlier, protected his teammate in Hale.
Local boys doing well, David Hale. That kick maybe not so good. Rosa with the double-handed pat.
Yeah, I get amazed at some of those spoils. If you've got time to knock it away with two hands, why not go for the mark? As we see Josh Kennedy backing back, you'd really like to see Rapunda protect his back there.
Without doubt.
Cox down to Graham.
It's a pet hate of mine, the two-handed spoil.
That's why you played full forward. You refused to spoil.
To Hardy.
Did you ever spoil?
Yeah, you do, but he was in front with two hands. Why not take the mark and affect the turnover?
I take your point.
Rawlings, a wobbler. Tough one to mark. Jones did his best. Glass. McKinley spending a lot of time in defence at the moment. Frittis dragged down. Got rid of it legally. No free. Simpson spins it back inside 50. Not a good kick from the captain. Straight to the other captain. Glass wide. Gwendolyn Lynch all the way down to half back.
Just running over the boundary line there, the big fella. Pushed way out of his forward 50 entry. Just see him just
Yeah, good decision.
Takes him longer to turn than he realises.
Oh, terrific courage from Josh Kennedy, but he desperately needed some protection from his teammate.
Maston got it from Glass, kicks it to the midfield, bouncing ball. Clean ball, Kennedy. It was a tough one. Rawlings to Campbell. Inside 50, almost a push in the back. No free to Daniel Wells.
That was generous there, Dwayne. That was certainly a push in the back, especially under the new interpretation of the rule.
Rosa to Cox. Shannon Grant almost, but that's good enough. We'll get a ball in. 38 plays 33.
Let's have a look at that one. Rosa was gone. Yeah, Wells dropped the mark, but he certainly pushed him in the back, and under the new rule, that is certainly a free kick.
Cox tried to get the handball out. Scrappy at the moment. Jones to Hale. Dragged down. No prior opportunity. Ball up.
North Melbourne, always good at the contested footy, always good around the contest, leading the tackles clearly, 14-5.
So Hale and Cox. Cox down towards Steng line, but he was being sweated on. Corey Jones can't break free with it. And they'll recognise this game up here because it's a little rugby-esque.
We saw a pretty free and open scoring first quarter, but it's really turned into a tight struggle in the second term.
And the ball up. Frittis tried to get it out. Jones. He's caught, dragged down.
Keep moving, keep it moving.
Handball comes out from the hand of Embley to Fletcher. He's brought down. It's tough. And we'll get another ball up. Adam Simpson having a rest for the Kangaroos. Of course, the crowd doesn't matter for the Kangaroos. They'll get their $400,000 for this game regardless. That's the deal they've struck. The play games here on the Gold Coast. Wells. Touch to play on. Glass. He sends it wide. Bouncing ball. Riggio. Boundary line. Did he do it deliberately?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, but compare that to the other end of the ground. He was under enormous pressure there.
I thought he did very well.
Ebert with the quick kick. Kennedy with the mark. Fletcher calls for it. McKinley calls for it. It's in McKinley's direction. He pushed everybody away. He said, get away, I've got the space.
Kick.
And he pokes that pass inside 50, almost to Braun. He was hassled. Dives in, Petrie.
Oh, brilliant.
Manufactures a kick. Ferrito. Power. Hales wide, he ignores it. Central, gives it up. Seabee.
That was great work from Seabee. He identified that Hale was going to be, or McIntosh was going to be used through the middle of the ground and sprinted 20 metres to get in the position to make a spoil. In the end, it was a nice chest mark.
Kennedy to Embley. Thumps it long. No one's at home, though, over the head of Gibson. Had it been accurate, it might have been a goal. It's a behind.
Been a good game when you look at his role, Andrew Embley. It's a different one from him. He's playing in defence. He's played on Lindsay Thomas, a dangerous small forward for North Melbourne. Thomas has had just the one kick. Embley now with 8 possessions, really on top in that contest.
Sends it wide from the kick in. Riggio, clean bowled by that. McKinley doing a lot of good work without kicking goals. Prittis inside 50 towards Staker. Half dragged off it. Watt, lower, Gibson. Watt pushed in the back as he kicked it. And often you don't see that paid either. If there's a push in the backside, umpires allow it.
Well, after the last one we saw, I thought he was going to pay it against him for kicking it with his knee.
And give him 50.
McMahon along the boundary line, and Out of play on the full. Scott McMahon, Carrara specialist. First game for the year here this year and made his AFL debut here last year. Kick towards half forward.
Well done.
Kennedy. Hand over the top. Stengline can't break free. Braun, Stengline. Doesn't kick many goals. Gets another opportunity for his first of the year.
Look at Selwood.
Selwood was there for 15 seconds.
Oh, thank goodness he kicked it.
He would have got a decent spray from a number of people if he hadn't kicked that goal. It was a smart goal in the end. Just had the blinkers on a little bit and was focused on kicking the goal. Selwood had made some good space. Probably been rotated off the interchange bench and was at the top of the goal square and just sitting by himself. But that's the arms out there. I think he might just have a little word to his midfield teammate on the way back to the centre circle.
Tyson Stengline hasn't been pushing forward a lot this year. That's his first goal of the season. And really only averages a goal every 4 or 5 games now.
And they could certainly use some more goals out of the midfield, West Coast.
From the ball up. Seaby down. Fletcher had it but lost it. Harris. Seaby. So giving Cox a rest at the moment. Get another ball up. 40. Plays 38. West Coast by 2 points.
Straight back here.
Back into the team. Mark Seaby this week.
Arms around him. West Coast free kick.
You heard it?
Arms around.
Yeah, gets Nathan Thompson having a run in the ruck at the moment.
Fletcher. It's got McKinley and Lynch. They both got there. Almost spoiled each other. It might come off. McKinley gave it out to Fletcher. Wirrapunda, a couple to beat. Can't beat them all. Petrie appeared to mark it. Kennedy gets the snap around the body. That's a big one for the West Coast.
It was a big one.
Very impressive, Josh Kennedy, Lynchy. I haven't seen a hell of a lot of him, but gee, I like the game he's playing. He's only had the 5 possessions, now kicked a goal. But just his work rate, his second and third efforts, that's on the non-preferred foot. That's a terrific reward for the effort there.
He can take contested marks. He averages about 10 marks a game, and he works very hard. And that was probably a little bit lucky in the end. Petrie seemed to have a good handle on that ball.
4th goal of the season for Josh Kennedy. 3rd game for the Eagles, trying to prove that he was more than just the steak knives in that deal for Chris Judd to Carlton. Stengline, now the lead again, and free kick to Kennedy. And he may be within range. No.
He's not Anthony Rocket.
No, well, the push started when he was on 50, but now had to take it. Well, he gave it off anyway. Ebert kicks wide. Tough bouncing ball. Lynch, he can make the distance. And he does bounce it through.
There's some good signs for the West Coast Eagles. This is a very entertaining game. The West Coast Eagles, after a bit of a shootout in the first quarter, have managed to shut down a number of players through the midfield of the North Melbourne side. And Quinton Lynch, who's been pretty quiet this year, 9 goals at the start of this game, has kicked 2 tonight. And they've both been very good ones. The work ethic of the Eagles is certainly kicking in.
His best ever performance was here in Queensland. 8 goals he kicked, but of course it was against the Lions at the Gabba. This is the first time these 2 teams have ever met here at Carrara, and you would guess it'll be the last. From the ball up. Players just looking at the umpire saying, please, will you ball it up?
Yeah, laugh there.
A little chuckle.
Umpire Chris Camelins having a little chuckle, or Camelinos, as he was announced out on the field by the ground announcer before the game. Jones. Toe poke to Glass. 21 minutes into this second term. Into time on. Harding had it, but left it behind. Glass sold the dummy to Shannon Grant. Sends it wide. Kennedy.
Working very hard up the ground. Kennedy, he moves well for a big fella.
Getting some big value out of those steak knives at the moment. Maston
He's the other part of the deal for the Steak Knives.
He
Maston.
is too. Maston was pick 3. The pick they got for Chris Judd. Rosa. Watt, caught, slung. Gibson left it behind, had to go and get it. Over it. Harris in there. And the players have been waiting for the umpire to ball a few of these up. They do it this time. Rowan Smith.
Just some bad news for the Kangaroos, boys. Alan Obst, the direct line from the North Melbourne bench is that he's got sore ribs and will not take any further part in the game tonight.
It's disappointing for the youngster in his first game.
So they're one man down with the debutant Alan Obst out for the rest of the night. 38 plays 52. From the ball in, Stengline, Fletcher. Wobbles it inside 50. Bouncing ball where Punda made his own. Spins around and is it touched on the line?
I don't think so.
It was over the line.
Oh, and Hale and Stengline are just really into it here in front of the commentary box, centre wing. We're a good handy goal by Wirrapunda. We know he can go back and forward, but there's plenty happening off the ball. He has struggled to really get into the game tonight, but we know he doesn't need too many touches of the ball, as that one's just touched on the line by Ferrito, or just over the line. Handy goal, 20 points out, the West Coast Eagles, after looking like a bit of strife halfway through the first quarter.
Biggest lead of the game so far for the West Coast. 20 points. Into time on second term. Simpson gets the handball out, but the West Coast with the numbers. A trip. Free kick to Rosa. Comes wide. The West Coast have been playing this flank. Drop mark from the first game of Ryan Davis. Then a slip, but he mopped up his mess. Gave to Cox. Seaby, short. Bump on Ebert. No free. Fletcher got it from Staker. McKinley, can he get there? Bouncing ball. Gee, made it look a good bounce. Kick tough. Maston. And now the Kangaroos with the numbers. Petrie. Power. Simpson. Jones comes from 4 deep. Nikoski. Hunted down by Campbell. Got the kick away just in time. They can reload. Fletcher along the wing to Maston. They're more confident at the moment than they've been all season, the West Coast.
And they're looking good. They've got their tails up. Bit of confidence all of a sudden.
Nikoski long inside 50. Bump. No free. McIntosh.
Got to be careful on the way out here.
McMahon. Thomas. Open forward line.
Dummy.
Shannon Grant calls for it long. He's in a one-on-one. Jones. Grant. Grant. Jones. Jones. Tapped it out. Well played. Schofield made it a 2-on-1. Led a hand. Kick not so good, although.
Touch finder.
It's perfect.
That was great work from Jones down back. Looked like Shannon Grant was about to work him under the ball and take an easy mark in the end, but Jones pushed back hard. He threw his arms back, made a contest, and was able to get the ball out of defence.
Power. Wells. Harvey. Short kick. Lindsay Thomas. 4 minutes from half-time.
Just his third possession, Lindsay Thomas. Very quiet first half from him.
Sam Power.
Wells went down behind play with Stengline and complained to the umpire.
Wirrapunda zones off, as he so often does in defence. Read that beautifully. And he can reload his team. Cox, plenty of room to move here. Thought about a bounce, gives to Selwood instead. No one comes at him. Little touch on the deck. Now the leads come. Lynch. Clean bowled a couple. Maston couldn't collect it on the bounce. Wells. Wide to Harding. And Wirrapunda grabbed him, and that's normally 50.
He was trying to play on Harding.
No doubt about that.
Wirrapunda to his own advantage. Little tap out. McMahon held up. Harris. Not a lot to go to by foot. Comes by hand to Harvey. Boundary line of sanctuary here. The West Coast Eagles can reset.
Well, I reckon there's some genuine concern for North Melbourne at the moment. The Eagles are up and running.
Wasn't that either 50 metres or play on?
I think it was fantastic interpretation of the rule by the umpire.
You're right,
because
which happens all too rarely.
Yeah, it was good decision.
Well,
you're right, Dwayne. Technically, it had to be one way or the other.
Selwood.
Player handball.
And we have seen it played technically. The umpires, as Campbell collects it in the pocket, runs in, tries to get a snap on, thinks about Shannon Grant instead. Well manufactured.
Handy goal for the Kangaroos there. You touched on Lindsay Thomas. He's had a pretty quiet day, and he's got Andrew Amboy on him. But once again, he was involved there. He's running and chasing very hard. He was just able to get in and put a little bit of pressure on and lay a shepherd to give Campbell that extra second or two. You'll see him coming here late.
Yep.
It's a little shepherd, so he's not having a lot of the ball. He's just doing the right things for the team, and his time will come later in the game if he keeps that work ethic up.
58-44, Shannon Grant having a rest for his trouble.
Just see a massive void at centre-half forward for the Kangaroos, and they do this at every centre bounce. They just clear that area just so if they can get possession, they'll run it out.
Important 2.5 minutes coming up here to half-time. Cox. Glass. Power. Watt. Nowhere to go to. Turns it over. Stengline towards Lynch. Got hands on it. It hit Harding in the back of the head. He didn't know where to go with it. McIntosh. Petrie caught by the pants. Rawlings under immense pressure. Selwood. Braun. Not a lot to kick to. Central kick. Good commitment, Gibson. Ball hits the deck. Ebert left it behind. Gibson goes back in. Braun wobbles it inside 50, but they've got the numbers, the Kangaroos. Ferrito, Thompson.
They'll have to hold it up. Glass is back 40 metres, so he can't go long along the line. Just got to take a little bit of time, catch your breath.
Watt. Rawlings. Ferrito.
Themselves under pressure. They've got to get out of it here, hopefully for their sake.
Gibson. Harvey. Now Wells. Well, depends on the bounce. It's Kind. And he's away. But a couple of players peeling off for him. He thumps a high bomb. Schofield, third man up, thumped it down. Ball still alive, although Lindsay Thomas can't keep it in. We'll get a ball in.
I like the way Tyson Stengline just corralled Daniel Wells there. Wells would have loved him to attack him hard, and he could have stepped and run into space, but he made him kick it high and long to a contest.
Cox to Prittis. And that is the future for the West Coast Eagles right there. Selwood bump. Staker to Wirapunda. And now Fletcher. They can attack from this.
On to Kennedy.
He's in position A. Takes the mark. Open forward line. Lynch on the lead. He's got it.
Gee, he delivers well, Josh Kennedy. We saw him do one in the first quarter, but found McKinley, I think it might have been, and this one was an absolute beauty for Quentin Lynch.
He's been an impressive player tonight, Kennedy.
Well, he was picked forward in the 2005 draft when Carlton took him. They only played him in 22 games in the 2 years that he was there.
It's only his third game this year.
Yeah. They must have seen something special in him to take him early in that draft at pick 4. And then lost faith, obviously, or simply wanted to get Chris Judd. Siren. Lynch on the buzzer, sprays it wide. But they'd be reasonably happy with their quarter's work, the West Coast Eagles. North Melbourne led by 5 points at quarter time. The West Coast Eagles with a 9-goal opening half and a 5-goal second term have the lead at the long change. 9-5-59 to 7-2-44.
Is there an upset brewing at Carrara? Certainly a distinct possibility at Gold Coast Stadium. It's the West Coast Eagles by 15 points at half-time, 9-5-59. North Melbourne 7-2, 44-2 each to Grant and Hale for the Kangaroos. A couple to Staker for West Coast. Clearances, well, they fought back, Lynchy, the West Coast. They were getting beaten early. And look at the clangers for North Melbourne. We highlighted that prior to the game. It's hurting them again.
Dean Lately spoke about it after the last game they played against Adelaide Crows. And the turnovers really is killing them at the moment. And then half of that's got to be a credit to the West Coast Eagles. But repeat offenders after the last couple of games, they will be certainly talking about that at half-time.
We said Brent Staker was best of field at quarter-time. He's continued on with good form in the second term as well. He's had 14 possessions, kicked a couple of goals, playing as just a floating half-forward. He's been everywhere.
He has been everywhere. He's put a lot of pressure on from the first contest of the game and was able to go forward and kick those sort of goals, but just got a presence about him. He's drawing the ball when up forward, and he's certainly given a lot of drive off half-back when he's pushing down the field. Yeah, they've looked
pretty good up forward. They haven't had to rely on one option. They've shared the ball around a lot, and they're starting to look very dangerous every time they go forward, aren't they?
A number of players, you know, look at Cox, he's running well through the midfield. Young Maston's been very efficient. I think we spoke about the numbers are down for the midfield of the West Coast Eagles compared to last year, but Maston's one of those players that's come into the side, and he's a class act, and certainly a lot of West Coast Eagles supporters will be very happy with his form.
Now, one of the stats we highlighted at quarter time was North Melbourne, very efficient scoring every time they went forward. Well, it was the reverse effect in the second quarter. All of a sudden, the Eagles made the most every time they went forward. We saw a terrific snap from Kennedy. Then it was bang, bang, bang. Lynch picked up and snapped one. Then Rapunda picked up and snapped one. They all got amongst the goals, didn't they?
They tried to slaughter that one. Tyson Stenglein had the opportunity to handball the ball over the top, but they've been able to capitalise on those instances. They've gone into the forward 50. Forward 50 count in that quarter was 11-19 in favour of the West Coast Eagles, so they really started to dominate through the midfield, and just some key targets. I mean, Kennedy's been leading up beautifully. There's a number of targets up there. Quentin Lynch has got his hand on the ball and kicked a couple of goals, so some good signs for the West Coast Eagles.
Well, our man down at the boundary level is Rowan Smith. He's been keeping his eye on a young fella from New South Wales, the first game of Ryan Davis. What did you make of his first half, Smithy?
Well, look, Jace, when he first got on the ground, he was running around like a chook with his head cut off. But, you know, it was great to see him just get down in the forward line. He has been playing in defence and doing a good job on the small North Melbourne forwards, but he was able to get up forward. I've taught him well to get up to into a forward position, be able to kick a goal. And, you know, his first kicking footy, you know, there's no better feeling than kicking a goal. And you could see how excited he was there, and all the boys got to him. So it was terrific for him to be able to kick a goal with his first kick in AFL footy.
Absolutely. Very hard to take the smile off Rowan Smith's face at the moment. He was involved with the New South Wales under-16s, who played the curtain raiser and beat Queensland by about 1,000 points, literally, didn't they?
Oh, really disappointing for the Queensland side. They only kicked one goal for the game, came late in the game as well.
Well, we know it's not going to be the Gold Coast Kangaroos anymore. They're going to have their own team up here, the 17th team. And on the other side of the break, we're going to talk to the man that's putting it all together.
Welcome back to Carrara on the Gold Coast. Second half about to get underway. 15-point lead to the West Coast Eagles. Some strapping to the head of Scott McMahon, and we're underway. It's been a good opening half for the fans here, and the West Coast start as they finished. Fletcher with a kick inside 50. McMahon pushed off it by Pritis. Comes clear, Rawlings, but Ebert almost trapped it and then was almost dragged off it. Umpire said play on. Harris, Ebert back in. Umpires have been letting it go. We'll get another ball up. 59-44. After North Melbourne led by 5 points at quarter time. If you've just joined us, Cox thumps it down. McIntosh, Watt, Riggio. West Australian boy from Peel Thunder, playing for North Melbourne tonight, sends it wide. Toe poke off the deck from Jones, accidental.
Disappointed,
ball in.
Disappointed he didn't gather possession, but doing a good job. He's just got a yard of pace advantage over Shannon Grant. Both teams have virtually started the second half the way they started the match. The Eagles obviously happy with the way they're going, and Dean Laley just hoping that some of his players can lift.
Wells lifted the arms, gave to Rawlings, sends wide. Grant, race on. Jones is with him. Grant inside 50. Campbell.
Electrifying speed just to make a gap between Campbell and his opponent there. Great lead. But even then, they missed the target on the way out.
And Nikoski's not slow either. Short pass to Grant. And he pokes it, but it's touched. Jones Back to Campbell, who started all this. Maybe should have had a shot in the first place. Can't get one away here. Jones.
Grab that.
High thump, and Maston almost does. He does on the bounce. Hands up to Prentice. Fletcher. Good movement. Maston slides the kick, hoping for McKinley. Maston dives back in. 3 efforts in the movement. Watt. Power under pressure. Almost ridden by Lynch, not in the back. Braun. Wirrapundah. McKinley. Punched away from him. Toe poke from Staker. That'll do. Doesn't matter how you get him. He's got 3.
Well, the main way they got that was through skill errors again from the Kangaroos. They had the opportunity to go in there 50. Campbell was very good, had a good lead, but they just butchered it when he probably should have had a shot on goal with trying to get a target at the top of the goal square. There was a handball error across half-back as well, and just opened up the forward line for the West Coast Eagles. And that man, Brett Staker...
Clever footwork.
He's just going extremely well. Had the 15 touches, kicked 3 goals, 2 now, and he's flying.
3 goals for Brent Staker tonight. The best games of his career, his 100th game on the horizon in a couple of weeks. Simpson. Harvey holding Selwood according to the umpire.
Yeah, fought hard for front position. Good work there from Adam Selwood.
Another one has played pretty well tonight.
Yes. Fletcher's been lively.
He kept Harvey to 11 possessions.
Wirrapundah, half held, not fully held. And then Wirrapundah gives the free kick to Harris, whose shoulders hurt.
Yep, that hurt. He felt the full body weight of David Wirrapundah straight on top, and that really hurt.
Just gets rid of the ball so he can take some time to catch his breath. Harding, long towards Hale.
Big mismatch. He's got Fletcher as an opponent.
And out of play, almost a win for both. Fletcher was completely spent chasing it down, and Hale would have been hard-pressed to beat him had it stayed in.
Oh, just crunched him, didn't
Yeah,
it?
they can pop out that sort of impact from the back.
Oh, a free kick and a report for tripping.
Brent Harvey has been reported for tripping.
So you better just get your video recorder on, because we're only allowed to show it to you once after they've been reported. So
just disappointing.
we'll give it to you once.
And there, that right there is a sign of the frustration of Brent Harvey at the job that Adam Selwood's done. Kept him to 11 possessions. He hasn't had the influence he normally would, and he lashed out.
He's frustrated. Selwood's had the 14 touches and been very effective with those possessions.
Selwood, Embley, Wirrapundah, and now Staker. They maintain possession at half-back the West Coast.
And Cox is getting on top of McIntosh as well. He's now up to 13 possessions, just the 5 for McIntosh.
Turns it over to Harris, whose shoulder looks okay. And as I said in the press this week, Hamish McIntosh said that maybe the game last week that Dean Cox had may allow McIntosh, who had the week off, to wear him down with Hale. From the collision, even. Shoots it out. Schofield, Fletcher, Cox, Rosa. Back to Cox, who's running like a rover. Sends it low, McKinley over his head. Chance to peel back onto it, though. McKinley bumped off it. Well played by Gibson. And out of play on the full. Rawlings marked it, but it was over the line. And Quentin Lynch says, give it to me. Okay, I hope you press record on the video recorder. Here it is, the Harvey trip.
He ran across the back of Prentice's legs. It didn't look to be anything really bad. They just angled across him. Now, there'll be a good argument there at the tribunal during the week, I'd suggest.
He hasn't exactly lashed out with his boots. So.
No, not the way the umpire was indicating. So I reckon they'll fight that.
Harding, how many points will he get then, Jason, under the system, roughly?
I have no idea, Dwayne, but I can just about guarantee they won't accept it if they do get offered a suspension.
He won't get a week for that.
80 points, well short to Hale.
Now you mentioned Cox.
And
he's holding
a bit of anger behind play. Brett Jones and Shannon Grant at the moment going at it. A lot happening off the ball. High kick. Simpson gets there. Cox.
Well, just about to touch on, you mentioned about Cox running like an on-ball or a small on-baller up the wing there. He's just racking up too much touches at the moment. McIntosh and Hale got the big bodies. They've got to put that body into Cox if they're going to wear him out. The only way he's going to be worn out at the moment because he had too much of the footy.
McIntosh is absolutely tonguing it. And on top of the possession advantage, he's also had 23 hit-outs, Cox. McIntosh just the 7th.
Nikoski thumps it. Staker under it. Almost, not quite. Harvey, Petrie, Gibson, Simpson, and they can reload from half-back North Melbourne. No one to go to. And he knows it. Has to go backwards almost. Goes with the underground handball to Power. Only shorts on. Hale with the second grab. Now the long kick to Harvey. Race on. Braun and Harvey. Harvey to his own advantage. Braun pursues. Hassles. Harvey. He hassled him so much he had to give it up. Kick smothered. Lindsay Thomas dives in. Nikoski picked up by Jones. Around the body. Corey Jones manufactures one.
He's been very quiet tonight, Corey Jones. Just the 6 possessions now. He's kicked the goal. They desperately needed it. Andrew Embley just had the kick smothered. He probably needed to hand pass. He had a couple of loose players behind him. The smother resulted in a great snap for Corey Jones. There's plenty happening behind play. They're trying to work Selwood over. David Hale coming in to give Brent Harvey a little bit of protection.
It's about time, actually, some players stepped up and the taggers put some pressure on them. Put a few blocks on, give your elite midfielders some space.
First goal of the night for Corey Jones. Just the 1 goal a couple of weeks ago against Adelaide as well. Quiet last couple of games. McIntosh. Maston. Cox reached down, picked it up, gave to Fletcher. Kennedy. Held it long enough. Lee comes. We're a punda.
Needed to go with the hands.
Just slowed as well.
Towed it off the deck. Stolen by McIntosh. No one to go to on the rebound. Gets the kick away. Prittis will chase this down. Simpson's coming with him. Prittis gets there first. Well played by Simpson. Dragged it in, but he got it out. Maston. Rosa. Away from Wells. Players on the open side. Fletcher has Cox. Hits him.
Stay, Matt, stay.
Held up. Kennedy again. And again he takes the mark. This time within range, he believes.
He moves extremely well. Those 2 last leads at the ball, he looked very athletic and he'll have a shot right on his range.
Difficult kick, though. We've seen the ball hold up from this side of the ground, kicking to this end.
And the flags certainly haven't dropped off since the first quarter when they were having shots from this position.
He's kicked 1 so far tonight. Puts it up, lets it sail. It's the post.
He got the journey okay.
Extremely well.
Talked about his Carlton career earlier, but of course he's WA boy originally. Played for East Freo. Chip kick in, a little dangerous, but it's okay. Power, back to the man who gave it to him, Harding. And wide to Lower. Spent some time on the bench tonight. Ed Lower. And now Harris can run. Short. Campbell. Thumps it long. Hoping for Thomas. Got there and spilled it. Had plenty of it, but never controlled it. Graham. They get out of jail, the West Coast. Nikoski. They turn it over, though, and McIntosh takes the mark. Harvey thought about giving to Lower. Sends it inside 50 to Nathan Thompson. That'll do. He's 45 out.
That's all a direct result of the poor kick from Nikoski. He was pinned on the boundary line. He had to keep it down the line as he tried to kick it long to relieve the pressure. Off the inside, the instep of the boot. And almost squared it up to McIntosh. And that just meant as soon as the turnover went to the fat side that there were going to be Kangaroos players leading into space, and Nathan Thompson took full advantage.
West Coast Eagles led by as much as 20 points. Nathan Thompson's kick, good. And they're edging their way back.
There's one thing we know about the Kangaroos, Lynchy, is they don't go away. They know how to fight it out.
Don't they? They go into so many games, and especially last year we saw so many games they go in as underdogs, and you get them into this position at half-time where they could have easily fallen away, but they've been able to go to that efficiency inside 50 where they've made the most of every forward 50 entry, and Nathan Thompson, we know, is a beautiful kick on the ball, converted an opportunity when they really needed it.
2 goals straight for Nathan Thompson tonight. And it's back to a 10-point margin, and they're having a laugh about it, which is nice to see, sort of. Prentice kicked to half forward. Rosa, good tackle, dragged down. No free for Gibson, no prior opportunity. Little toe on it from Harding, he missed it. Davis, Seaby, missed from 20 out.
A bad miss too, because they had a little bit of time and space. They worked it well. Petrie tried to shepherd for a teammate, and in effect it let McKinley in to shoot the hand pass out and give them the opportunity, but Seaby just not able to convert.
In now.
Harding to Petrie.
Stay.
67 to 56.
Hey, come on, guys, come on. I'm watching the whole. Oh, you now come
Here the umpires arguing with a few players who are holding and scragging. Simpson dragged down. And we'll get a ball up on the point of the centre square. Seaby doing the ruck work. Prentice turned out of trouble, gave it off. Wasn't 15. Kennedy. Jones. Now Riggio. Not a lot to go to. The leads come now. Just pops it to Harvey, who can run. Selwood's chasing him down. Centering kick. Thompson got it. Wants to run on. Loads up from 50. Brings it back. Not enough. Only a behind.
That's great for his confidence. I mean, has kicked some goals this year and has in games looked very good, but that's a good jump for a man that's coming off a serious knee injury.
Rosa, Campbell a free, hit him to the back of the head. Harvey plays on, not sure that was advantage. We'll find out shortly. Jones, Grant, and McIntosh takes the mark. Okay, if he kicks the goal, it was a good advantage. He misses, it wasn't.
Homie, sets the line, marks where he is.
Tough spot here. We'll just see some reasonable clip around the right ear. But McIntosh very wide out in this pocket.
Big kick this. Dominated the last 10 minutes. Sends it back toward goal, and it's offline. Only a behind from Hamish McIntosh. Said that he was going to, well, his exact words were,
Another metre, please.
there's the hit again, and we'll probably hear more about that.
Trying to spoil, wasn't he, Dwayne?
Is that what you would have said if a fullback did that to you?
Oh, cauliflower ear.
Rings for about 15 minutes.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, Hamish McIntosh said you can't be too negative against Dean Cox, and wanted to get forward and kick a couple of goals on him. Had the opportunity there and missed it. Riggio back inside, 50. Jones shuffles it out. And we'll get a ball in. Corey Jones just tapping it over the line.
Well, they're under the pump at the moment, West Coast. North Melbourne are making a charge. They're coming at them. They need to stand tall in defence.
Ball flipped back. Grant left it behind, played for the free, didn't get it. Prentice going nowhere. No prior opportunity, ball up.
All of a sudden, players like Grant and Harvey starting to get their hands on the footy a little bit more.
Palm down, lower. Harvey, Wells, gets away from Stengline, gets away from Jones with a bounce, kicks around the body towards full forward. Hale!
Great grab. Some beautiful work from Daniel Wells. And as you touched on, Harvey's looking very lively, getting his hand on the ball. And the big man stood up at the top of the goal square. High ball coming in, very difficult to mark, especially in a pack situation. Gets some quality spoilers there in Seaby and Glass. That's a very good mark.
5 marks inside 50 this quarter for the Kangaroos. And no coincidence that North Melbourne have got a grip on things the last 5 minutes, with Dean Cox having a rest deep forward.
For his 3rd goal of the night, David Hale cuts the margin back to 3 points.
And you would suggest, as the runner comes out to Dean Cox and gets a little message, and the message is just get back in the middle and can you just look after this thing. It's just gone a little bit south since you've pushed forward and having a bit of a rest at full forward. Seaby will push forward the full forward post. Cox to try to arrest the tempo that has been taken away from him by the Kangaroos.
good athlete, David Hale, comes from athletic family. Father rode for Australia at the 76 Montreal Olympics, part of the 8. Had a choice of sports as a kid, as so many great AFL players do. And the ball up. Davis in his first game shuffled it out for the West Coast. Ball hits the wing. McIntosh, Rawlings. They're inspired at the moment, North Melbourne. Chips the kick. Good chip too. Lower. Leads come. Low trajectory. Jones got there and marked millimetres from the turf.
Well, we mentioned a quiet night for Corey Jones, but you only have to do a couple of things to help get your team back in the game, and this would be a tremendous momentum to actually hit the front and put some serious doubt in the minds of West Coast. He kicked truly from a snap earlier. This one, a set shot from right on 50.
Had some big highs and lows this year, Corey Jones. Knocked out in round 1 and carried off. 7 goals in round 2. And there's a big kick that doesn't make it. And Embley kept it alive. Wirapunda, Selwood, Embley. The liveliest they've looked for a while. Big fist from Petrie, thumps it out of play. And we'll get a ball in 67 to 64.
Great desperation there. Petrie dived at full stretch. Didn't know where the traffic was, but killed the contest.
Cox back in the ruck. McIntosh. It's been a pivotal battle. McIntosh jumps in on hands and knees. It comes out. Jones got a handball out, but straight to Rawlings. A wobbler. Tough one to mark. Jones got a push. Things are going right at the moment for them. They're still 3 points away. Oh, gee, tiny push, tiny grab. Fist comes close to the line. Nikoski, that was deliberate, but he disguised it well enough. We'll get a ball in. About to tick into time on third term. The West Coast Eagles season on death row. Desperate for a victory tonight to reignite their year. Cox dives in. Maston collected, got it, gave it out. Shuffled to Wembley, who lost it again. Tries to get a kick away. Thomas played for the high free kick, didn't get it. Ball up.
You went into him.
As we saw then, West Coast Eagles player just fumbling with the ball. It's certainly crept into their game in this quarter. They've been certainly much cleaner in that second term where they dominated play.
Kick around the body from Harvey. And just touched. Behind.
Gee, the ball spent a long time in North Melbourne territory.
Embley. Quick bring in.
And that's a great sign of the defensive pressure of the forwards for the Kangaroos. Has certainly lifted over the last 30 minutes.
No one comes at Fletcher. Gives him time to give back to Graham. And they get away with it to the wing. Braun. Wirapunda short. Hits him. This is where they've had trouble in this term. Getting a mark inside 50. Wirapunda took the sideways step. Called to play on. Just a pop, pass and hope. Ball in. Staker couldn't make something of it. 2 points the margin. 20 minutes gone, third term. Cox and McIntosh. Down to Harris. And that's a win for North Melbourne. Get a ball in. Been no confusion with the moves on the bench tonight, as there has been with some games.
Stenglein off, Critters on for West Coast.
Wirapunda sharks it, sends it towards Lynch. He's got a couple to beat and getting back. Riggio.
That's a bad turnover, Wirapunda. You open up the other side of the ground.
And all of a sudden, they're all on, although that handball was tough for McMahon. Riggio, Simpson, also fresh on. Power. Back again to McMahon. Thumps it long, hoping for and finding Grant.
Well, they've got those class players up forward. Jones has certainly stepped up in this quarter. And this man, we know, doesn't need a lot of the ball, but he can just slot into the game for short stints and kick big goals.
He's already got 2. This to give North Melbourne back the lead. Tough kick, though, from just on 50. That's what he has in front of him. A skip, a run from the paint. Starts at left, and it was ugly from the time it left. It's a one-point game. Crowd tonight not anywhere near the record here of 18,198, which is held by Brisbane and Geelong from 1989, but at least it's nowhere near the worst either, which was 3,000 odd. It is 6,354.
Back 2 metres. Back 2 more.
And they're seeing a good contest. First game at Davis, back, Embley. Jones. Graham.
They clear the mark, guys.
Important last 3.5 minutes coming up here to three-quarter time. Long kick and getting back Harris. Unbelievably good mark. He could have been killed. Gave it off to Power, and now on the rebound, kick inside 50. Jones to one hand, couldn't trap it. Graham, Jones picks it up. Kick around the body is high. Thompson's getting back, gets there on the line.
West Coast Eagles are really struggling to hit targets off half back at the moment, causing another turnover there.
Jamie Graham that time.
Runs around to give them back the lead. Kicks across the face and scores a level.
And we're seeing the Kangaroos be so efficient in the early part of this quarter and certainly in the first term, but just let the West Coast Eagles off the hook the last few minutes. Missed a few, shots on goal. That was a very tough one from the boundary line, but we often see guys like Thompson kick those sort of goals.
Graham to himself, and now long, Stengline, Schofield flies but couldn't bring the mark down. Harris got it out to Wells. Oops, dangerous kick. Back to the midfield, anyone's ball. McMahon made it his. To Petrie, to Riggio. He could go the whole journey from 60. Big long launch. Off hands, and it's out of play. 2 minutes 15 from three-quarter time. Scores level.
Absolutely under siege, the Eagles. Did well to spoil that contest. Good punch over the boundary line.
McIntosh, a little tap straight down. Campbell couldn't make something of it. Glass, and they rush her behind. North Melbourne in front. The right option, though, from Jones there. Embley. Tritus.
This has been the problem. Hitting the target with this kick off half-back.
Little touch on the deck. Now towards Lynch. Got a hand on it. Well played by Ferrito. Dived in. Thumped it out to Harris. Petrie. Slung as he kicks. Rolling ball. Boundary line and Pritis. And now Jones came just as hard. Made the commitment. And knocks it out. Umpire Fuzzo gives him the benefit of the doubt. 1 minute 34 from three-quarter time.
It was a big win for North Melbourne, getting that ball out of bounds.
Didn't he disguise that well? Just massaged it across the line. Simpson, wide, Rawlings. Pops it inside 50, hoping for Grant. Jones is with him.
All right, guys, let's call it, okay?
Jones and Grant have been going at it.
The advice.
They've had to lecture a few players tonight, haven't they?
Back into play. Pritis does the ruck work, takes it out. Rawlings stole it back. Braun. Wide ball, out of play on the full. 1 minute from three-quarter time, North Melbourne's ball.
The inside 50s, 15-9 in favour of North Melbourne in this quarter. Well down at half-time.
Lower. Just a kick and hope. Big, long launch. Almost. Thompson. It hit the deck when he brought it down. Play on. Crowd wanted a mark. Didn't get it. Graham to his own advantage. Tops got it out to Wells. He dropped it. Grant shuffles it out to Rawlings. Got a kick away, but it's wide. And with 43 seconds left on the clock, we'll get a ball in.
Let's have a look at this. Grab Nathan Thompson and big pack. Pretty poor work by the defenders for the West Coast Eagles, but Nathan Thompson has got an enormous piece of that.
Took it all the way to the ground, controlled it. You've got to pay that, particularly in greasy conditions.
Handball smothered. Pritis the tackle on Jones.
But he's had three players behind him and one jumping across the top. No one laid a claw on it. So very lucky break for the West Coast Eagles. A number of those instances over the last 5 minutes.
Just balls it up. Push on Adam Simpson. Free kick.
That's silly. Silly. An experienced player in Michael Braun. I was just about to say there's 30 seconds left. John Worsfold would love them just to hold fast so he can just give them a spell at three-quarter time, reset things up, and Michael Braun goes and does something very, very silly right in front of goal.
They won't let him off the hook on this occasion, you suggest?
The steady captain. Understated champion that he is. Straight over the goal umpire's hat. North Melbourne by 7.
Well, they've had a few shots on goal. They've had an enormous amount of the ball. The midfield certainly got on top in this third term. Their efficiency was very good, but the West Coast Eagles just been able to hang on. But that's just absolute... That's almost a brain explosion, that one.
It is, from an experienced player, a premiership player.
The umpire is just 3 or 4 metres away. Just such a bad error with so few seconds to go in this third term.
Straight back this way, guys. Don't block.
First goal for Adam Simpson, the captain. Game 275 for him tonight.
It's a direct result, Dwayne, that he's always third man up, very often for North Melbourne. Michael Braun was worried about him winning the tap, but he was just silly the way he put two hands in the back and gave him the free kick.
Simpson got that one out, maybe one last roll of the dice. They need a mark from Riggio's kick. They don't get it. Only 6,354 here on the Gold Coast for this one at Carrara. But they're getting their money's worth at the moment. North Melbourne, after being down by 15 points at a half-time and down by as much as 20, lead at the last change, 11-8-74 to 10-7-67. Palm down, lower. Harvey, Wells. Gets away from Stengline, gets away from Jones with a bounce, kicks around the body towards full forward. Hale!
Great grab.
Cuts the margin back to 3 points. Big third term by North Melbourne, and they lead by 7 points at three-quarter time after being down by 20. 11-8-74. The West Coast Eagles 10-7-67. The major goal scorers tonight so far. Hale has 3. Staker has 3 for the West Coast Eagles. And what do you make of those leading possession winners, gentlemen? Adam Simpson yet again up the top for the Kangaroos.
Well, all 4 names are familiar, aren't they?
Yeah.
Simpson, Harris, Harvey, Rawlings, Fletcher, Cox. He's just doing a super job. Can he run out the quarter in the ruck? They would love him to play almost all of the last quarter in the ruck because he is just like having an extra star midfielder there. But at some stage, he's going to need a spell in that third quarter. When he took a spell, North Melbourne really got a grip on the game, Lynchy.
He certainly did. And Rowan Jones is down with the West Coast assistant coach.
A good first half, but just let yourself down there in that third quarter.
Really pleased with our pressure and our intensity early, but we just fell away a bit that quarter.
And just tend to coming out of the full the back line, just turning the ball over at times.
Yeah, that's been costly on occasions, but they've held up pretty well. They went inside 50, 17 times that quarter, so they're doing a pretty good job. We just need to have a greater impact around the stoppages.
Okay, good luck in the last quarter. Thanks, Tony.
Hey, good on you, Jonesy.
Yeah, rightio.
Yeah, thanks, Jonesy.
Yes. Sorry, buddy.
Little slip there, Rowan Smith. Rowan Jones, who's no longer playing with the West Coast. Brad Ebert now wearing Rowan Jones' old number 18.
You don't get away with anything here.
Don't deserve to either.
Big last term this. West Coast Eagles hold season hanging by a thread. And North Melbourne lead by 7 points. Prentice tries to extract it, can't. Get another ball up. More niggle. And the ball up. There he is, number 18 in Rowan Jones' old number. Can't break free with it, Brad Ebert. We'll get another ball up.
We spoke about Dean Cox. He started the fourth quarter on the bench, so they're giving him an extended break. And then hopefully when he comes on, he'll be able to run out the rest of the match. So big job for Mark Seaby right now on the ruck for West Coast.
No, play on.
Prentice got rid of it. Played for the free in the end. Seaby, bottom of the pack, going nowhere.
Every time you see a close game, you tend to think North Melbourne will win it. They're so good at handling pressure situations. They have so many reliable players that make the right decisions when they need them to.
Rawling stumped it out, but found Fletcher, who gave to Embley, and now the 1-2 back again. Almost messed it up. Maston to Embley. That's a big long kick, but it's way wide. And it's just scraped through for a behind.
That's a poor decision too, because he actually had Mark Seaby pushing into space at the top of the corridor, and Seaby gave him a burst after the kick because he should have squared it up. Would have been a set shot for goal, 35 out directly in front.
You see McIntosh is off the ground already. Just a structural change.
Short pass in. Michael Ferrito.
All of a sudden, Staker's playing in defence for West Coast. He was the best man on the ground in the first half. 17 possessions, 3 goals. Now he's playing in defence on Matty Campbell.
Yeah, I think he had the McIntosh match up there at one stage, and McIntosh has got off the ground and just got Campbell to add a little bit of pace up across half forward.
Riggio playing his first game of the year this week. Kicks, and it's cut off by Tyson Stenglein. Centering kick. Tough one. Good fist from Petrie. Prittis. He cut it off, and had he not, North Melbourne were away. They might still be. Wells tried to rake it out. Couldn't. Players look at the umpire and plead for a ball up. They'll get it.
Yes, Staker's
they've got
actually
it right
pushing,
now. Yeah, they've got it right now. He's pushed forward.
Umpire's wasting no time to just toss it in the air. Maston, slick. Prittis. Wirapunda. It comes off. Quick movement. And if you play in front, it's funny how luck follows you.
Absolutely, Dwayne. You couldn't have called it any better. As a forward, you've got to be in front when that quick kick comes, because if there's any doubt about it, if it's a mishit, slightly askew, this is what happens. Yeah, just carries the player coming back, and who's in front? David Wirapunda.
He was running back towards goal, but had that front position, was able to change direction very quickly.
To level the scores, early stages, final term. Gives it some air, and it's wide.
He's missed a few targets tonight, David Wirapunda, and now it's spread to his goal kick. And they can't afford misses like that.
There's 2 misses on goal already in this quarter. They've got to make the most of their opportunities.
Lee Harding spears it in. Ferrito. The 1-2 back to Harding. Now wide. Thomas, who's changed his boots again at three-quarter time. Toe poke from Embley towards the line, and Gibson sees it out.
He's been brilliant, Andrew Embley. He hasn't given Lindsay Thomas 1 inch of space. Just the 4 possessions to Thomas, no score. Embley's been brilliant in that role.
He's changed his boots 3 times tonight, Lindsay Thomas. Hale out of the air, slap back. Riggio couldn't break free with it, neither can Harris. Good fight on at the moment. Hale fights his way through. Bouncing ball towards Nathan Thompson. Glass with him. Hassles him. Ball out of play off the hands of Ebert. And we'll get a ball in.
Seaby's still in the ruck. You wouldn't think that Dean Cox is too far away from re-entering the game.
It's like LeBron James just having a rest. The big last 20 minutes in mind. Simpson towards Wells. 55 out, runs to 50, gets the kick away. Dream opening for Daniel Wells in this last term.
And Dean Cox has actually just come back onto the ground. You wouldn't want to leave him too much longer because the game will be over. No point coming on, and that is some very good work from the clearance. And Daniel Wells, who we saw in a lot of trouble with that right knee in the first quarter.
Can I just say, Lynchy, he's been a bit proppy at times tonight.
Oh, fair to say.
But space in front and an open goal, he found every yard of pace that he has.
What are you suggesting, Jason?
11 points the margin. The biggest margin North Melbourne has held since the opening term. From the ball up. Crisis time now for the West Coast.
And Cox is back on into the ruck.
Gibson got it out somehow. Simpson. Rawlings. Tap to his own advantage. Riggio, who's been good tonight, his first game of the year. Bouncing ball to Jones. Turns around and turns Schofield inside out. Centering kick. Just touched by Cox. Got back and has been valuable already. Embley. Rosa. Through traffic but turns it over. Lower. Caught by Prittis. No prior opportunity. Back to Rosa. And now Harding takes the mark on the wing. Good game this. Short, Hale.
Once again, that kick-off half-back for West Coast
They
Eagles.
just look to have more composure, the Kangaroos. Rosa, 2 mistakes there, a bad hand pass, and then an indiscriminate kick.
Everything they do at the moment, the Eagles, they're rushed. They seem to be under pressure.
Harding long, Nathan Thompson on the move. 2 fists against him. Stingline, but straight to Watt.
Right there.
Hands off to Simpson, too far out to score. Centering kick to the hot spot, just hoping. Jones was down there, both of them in fact. Selwood, Ebert, Wirrapunda. Open forward line for the West Coast. So open, no one's there. There's no one inside 50 from either team. McKinley from 50. He can go all the way, runs to 48, sends it to the top of the square, just eludes Kennedy. Behind. 10 points the margin. Petrie takes off down the middle. Dangerous kick. Stengline to cut it off. Well played by Harding and Stengline. Ferrito fights on. Maston with the steal. Can he hit a target? Kennedy gets there and marks a gem.
Well, they're the future of West Coast Eagles, Chris Maston and Josh Kennedy. That's giving you a glimpse of what might be to come. Maston's been terrific tonight. He's picked up 19 possessions, and Kennedy's work rate, he doesn't look to possess particularly good speed, but he continually presents. He's always there putting himself in the picture. He's worked hard. He's kicked 1 goal, 1 lining up for his second.
To cut it back to 3 points. Nice off the boot. Season's not done with yet for the West Coast.
Good use of the ball from Maston. As you touched on, Jace, he's been very good tonight with the 19 touches. He's only had a couple of possessions in that third quarter, but that was good delivery. I mean, he looks like Kennedy looks like a 400-metre hurdler, sort of lopes along, but he's been able to get into space, and that's a very good mark. They had to go back and kick that opportunity. They'd already had a few inside 50s, kicked 3 points in a row. A 6-pointer was desperately needed.
Crowd on the edge of their seats here at Carrara, as a few will be at home, with North Melbourne's own CEO and their president, Eugene Arocca, and James Brayshaw not here tonight, watching from home. Cheerio, boys. Hope you're enjoying it. Lower to McIntosh. Inside 50. Oh, enjoy that, Lindsay Thomas. It doesn't get much better than that.
We mentioned the job that Andrew Emberley has done on Lindsay Thomas. But when you're possessed with this sort of flair and skill, that's just a jack in the box, straight up and over. And you don't need to do too many of these things to be the difference between winning and losing in a tight match. Now he just needs a kick to do justice to the mark.
Oh, they always kick these. Big grab like that. Definitely.
Famous last words.
Just made it impossible for him.
It gives it more time for the replays afterwards. He'll kick it.
Hit it okay, and it drifts.
Just trying to keep the game very tight.
Here's the mark again.
It's a good lead.
It is. Couldn't quite complete the deal.
Play on, not 15, play on!
From the kicking. Danger for Nikoski. Got out of trouble to Fletcher. Sends it to Rosa. Hands are good. If you've just joined us, it was raining here all day today. Slippery conditions. Players have handled it quite well. Ferrito ducked into that. Thrown out of it in the end by Lynch after he ducked. Got the benefit of the doubt, Quentin Lynch. He thumps it inside 50. Kennedy leaps off hands. About to run in. Staker. Stolen by Gibson. He's over it. He's caught. Had plenty of time. McMahon shoots it up. Petrie sends it wide. Rawlings.
Outstanding work from Gibson to hold the ball up there, but for the whole of the defence for the North Melbourne team to just to stem the tide and clear the defensive 50. Great work.
Harris to McIntosh. And now lower. Lead comes from Shannon Grant. That's ignored. Heads towards Nathan Thompson. Gets there after the bounce. Fooled Braun. Gave to Harvey. He sends it wide. Lower again. Pokes it this time in the Campbell direction. And Matt Campbell can line up from 50. Tough angle.
That's a line.
He's the other half of the duo, Campbell and Thomas. Just the 9 possessions. Mark Nikoski hasn't done a bad job on him either, but they both have the capacity to turn the state of a game in the space of 10 minutes.
This would be gold if he could kick it from here. And he's missed. So roughly halfway through this final term. 12 minutes gone. 12 and some time on to go. 82 plays 76. 1 goal the difference.
Not a lot of movement for the West Coast for this kick out.
Jones to Fletcher. Thought about playing on. Heads wide, Stengline gets away from McMahon.
Right there. Play on.
Selwood.
Play on.
McKinley on the move, got it. Couple of 50. Technical, but they do get paid.
Oh, he knows he was in the wrong too, Drew Petrie. It was the juggle of the ball from McKinley that made him think he could go in. Then he realised, I can't do that, but I've done too much.
The spirit of the game would say no, but the rules say yes. That's 50.
That's bad luck. And you would suggest his uncle, who was a great centre-half back, would have probably done something a little bit harder, and that big Ronnie Andrews.
Rotten Ronnie. To level the scores, McKinley off the boot. He's a gunshot at goal, and he gives them hope.
And that was bad luck. Petrie knew exactly he'd done the wrong thing. Petrie,
you
yes.
spoke to him prior to the match. He actually said it's Petrie.
It is Petrie. It is Petrie. Just a mistake. He thought he had a chance to go on, but in the end, it was a mark. It was taken. It was late. But the West Coast Eagles been able to convert their last couple of opportunities when gone inside 50. That was a bonus, the 50-metre penalty, but very important.
Two goals for the night for Ben McKinley. Essendon fan growing up, his hero James Hird. And couldn't James Hird win a game off his own boot? Times like this, McKinley on cue, tries to trap it, lays the tackle. It comes out, lower. McKinley chases him down. Kick inside 50, but it's wide. Nikoski and Campbell. Boundary line beats them both. We'll get a ball in. 82 apiece. West Coast Eagles just percentage off bottom spot on the AFL ladder. Trying to resurrect their year with a win tonight. Selwood, Ebert, Pritis, Seaby, Ebert, Fletcher. Couldn't trap it. Ball hits the deck. And how the umpire view that he's gone.
Yep.
Umpire Chris Donlan sat back. And his eyes lit up. Quick kick inside 50. Hale, he's dropped it. Thomas shoots it out. Simpson hacks it high and long. Tough ball to mark. Jones. Good fist though from Schofield. Knocked it down. Chance here for Harding. A sharpshooter of years past. He misses. Glass. Fletcher. He can catch a breath, as we all can.
Once again, under siege, the West Coast Eagles. Dean Cox is on the interchange bench, just having a spell for one last stint in the ruck.
Do you play slow football while he's off? Embley thumps it. Wirapunda will need to jump, although the fist comes from Schofield, and a good fist too. Needed to make the contest out of play. Now Wirapunda plays 200th game next week. It's his 13th season. A big week next week for him. And the ball in. Hale shoots it to Thomas. Little fumble. Tough kick to mark. Nathan Thompson stands under it. Jones came hard. Couldn't mark it. Then he couldn't get a handball away. And a throw against Adam Simpson. 82 apiece. Here's the scoop. Yep.
The umpires demand your hand is closed when you slap those ones out.
Pritis. Got it from Embley, gives it to Rosa.
Still the Kangaroos forwards are doing very well to hold the ball in their forward half. Get multiple chances to have a shot on goal.
Kangaroos are playing one-on-one at the moment as well. Embley. That's why there's not a lot to kick to. Fletcher.
West Coast Eagles might have been listening to you, Dwayno, and thought maybe it's worth shutting the game down for a couple of minutes until we get Big Coxie on.
Exactly. Everybody can get a breath and then take the game on again. Braun. He sends a long ball. Wirapunda's direction. Got there. Made the contest with Staker. McMahon the crumb. Hand to Watt. Simpson. Doesn't want to turn it over. Holds onto it. Back to McMahon. Wide ball. Braun got there. Made the contest. Good contest from both he and Harris. Too hard not to see it out. Greenbelt martial artist as well, Michael Braun. He knows how to make your commitment when you hit hurt. And we've got a free kick from that ball in. It's to Hale.
And boys, one of the light towers has just gone out at the moment, so hopefully they all don't go off.
Gee.
Just saw that dimmed very much here live. Not sure what it's like on the screen, but the light tower, not sure where. It's certainly behind us, not on the other side of the ground.
Kind of confused at the moment. Some players playing on and some thought it was okay, but it'll come back to Harvey. By the way, scores a level, and we're about to tick into time on final term.
We'll have to send Smithy up to change a couple of those bulbs.
We were worried about lightning prior to the game, not the lights.
Back off.
There, you see how dark it is.
You can park your car on that hill. Lynchy, if you can, toot the horn if they kick this one. Hale, because it can give them the lead. Tucked up against the boundary. Difficult kick. But he has kicked 3 tonight. He's been the hot man in front of goal for North Melbourne. And behind, hands it back to the opposition.
There it is. That's the light tower that's not doing a heck of a lot at the moment.
Lightning earlier. Hail, heavy rain. And in the meantime, Hale misses across the face. Now behind. They're in front.
We've been very lucky with the weather. As we were driving down, that severe weather warning with massive hail was issued at 4 o'clock, but hasn't hit the ground during play.
Fletcher got it from Ebert. Caught. Has to give it back. Doesn't get it back in time. Oh, and 50. That'll be 50. No.
Oh, we see those paid 9 out of 10 times.
Harris tried to milk it. It didn't come off. Jones.
Terrific chase and pressure, though, from Daniel Harris. They're the sort of efforts that'll be the difference.
It's called to play on. Just a thump and hope. Chance for Thompson. Glass's fist wins out. Thumps it down to Cox, back on. Tries to hand it up. Turns it over. Campbell, goal! They're up by 7.
And there's confusion on the boundary line, and Smithy might be able to see what's going on. Certainly the interchanges for the West Coast Eagles have been very slow, and
Chad Fletcher just got sent back as he was coming off and gave the interchange steward from West Coast a fierce spray for wasting the energy.
Well, without doubt, Maston was to go onto the ground, but he was held up for a long time. There was probably 17 men on field for about 10 seconds, and a lot of confusion.
West Coast Eagles caught with 17 men on the field.
Yep.
And North Melbourne kick a goal.
McKinley just coming back on now after they got the paperwork right.
Just as we were saying that they've coped with it fairly well. 89 to 82. 20 minutes gone, final term. West Coast Eagles season hanging by a thread. Petrie. McMahon. Shuffled out to the back of the pack. Power, toe poke. Wells, he left it behind. Maston did likewise. Ferrito to his own advantage. Scooped up. Graham to Rosa. Graham dives back in. Ferrito's over it. Umpire will be forced to sort this out.
Dwayne, just on that interchange, West Coast didn't have their paperwork right, so the interchange steward was, it is quite right not to allow the player to go back on.
Prittis thumps it long, although under the new rules, Smithy, they might as well have messed it up, because the new rules aren't in tonight, for one, and two, even if they were in tonight, North Melbourne had a shot at goal. Ferrito. Power from half back. Thompson Flies but can't mark. Simpson gets the handball out, but it's a turnover. Rosa took on the tackler. Got a kick away. Good tackle from Thomas. Nikoski tried to shuffle it out. Campbell's lifted in his final term. Sends it inside 50. There's no one there. Bouncing ball. Grant. Good nice tap back. Too clever for Jones. Taps it back to Grant. Goes off the deck. Got a push. Play on advantage. West Coast ball. Fletcher. Open forward line awaits them. Cox loping.
Poor kick from Fletcher. Put him under pressure.
Petrie comes at him. He gets the kick away to Rapunda. Takes the mark. 89 to 82. Chip kick wide. McKinley. Good fist from Gibson. Ball out. 4 minutes 50 left. 89 to 82. And still no power in that pocket. Apart from Sam. Back into play. Pushing the back, not paid. Fletcher. Braun, if you're forced to jump, and Petrie jumps him. 4.5 minutes and counting.
They're looking very tired, West Coast.
At the dark end.
I just don't know if they've got the run to get over the top of North Melbourne.
Petrie out of the shadows and wide.
Play on.
Wells had it but lost it. Rosa. And Prittis helps Lower take it out.
Been a thrilling contest, though, for a match that a lot of people thought there wouldn't be a lot of interest in. A small crowd, that hasn't bothered the players. They've put on a terrific effort, both teams.
Cox had it, got the kick up. Davis, the first gamer. High kick to full forward. Fists fly. Almost Kennedy. His own man almost smothered it. Ball dragged down. Ball up here, a win for the West Coast. It's too far out, you would think, for North Melbourne to knock it through.
Absolutely, at minimum, they've got to score a point here. West Coast Eagles just really struggling under the pressure from the North Melbourne defenders.
Thumps it down. Kennedy tried to get a kick away, touched. Wells extracted it, sends it wide. He skips across the line. Inside 4 minutes. Hale, who's been good tonight, having a rest. Shannon Grant and Harris, you would think he'd be back on soon. Back into play. McIntosh. Almost Prittis. Cox slipped it out. Rosa. Handballed inboard. Maston. Cox. Caught. Dumped. Didn't get the free. McMahon sends it wide. Nikoski can take this out. Had no friends around him. Ball in.
Incredible effort, the Kangaroos. They find a way. They're not certainly over the line, but they just find a way to get the ball out of their area so often.
Time and the season slipping away for the West Coast. Rawlings to half forward. Stenglein, the bounce was kind to him. Glass. Nikoski. Not a lot to go to. Back to Glass. Shrugs the tackle. Prittis. Still not a lot to go to Rosa. The tackle Hale. Nikoski and now Cox. They've worked it to the free man. Poke pass toward half forward. This is the first game of Ryan Davis. Kick to goal with his first kick. This needs to be a precise one as well. McKinley from 4 deep. Warapunda. He thumped it back. Harding. Inside 3 minutes. Riggio.
They'll slow things down a little bit, the Kangaroos. Unless they've got clear options, they'll just slow it down and eat into the clock.
Hale. Jones on the move. Little push, not enough from Schofield, who gets the handball from Stenglein. Gives it up to Wembley. West Coast reload. Ebert. Wide to Cox. Played for the 50, didn't get it. Campbell didn't grab him.
A lot of tired players out there, just not a lot of hard run. Not too many options for him to kick to, so he has to go long to a contest.
Kennedy and McKinley fly. Back of the pack. Ferrito. Gibson needs to hit a target with this kick. Comes wide. Misses. Selwood. Inside 2 minutes. 7 points, 2 minutes is the equation. Selwood. Back inboard. Rosa. They need a mark inside 50. Warapunda's on the move. Can't get there. McKinley had it. Didn't realise it was coming his way. Dives in but misses it. Tries to shuffle it out. Warapunda. Rawlings. Tackled by Davis. Free kick to the Kangaroos. Crowd liked it.
You would think they've got the skills to wind this clock right down with a 7-point difference as well.
He's led from the front, Adam Simpson. Started on the bench, but he's been the big possession winner for the Kangaroos.
Kick smothered. Ebert traps it. They need a mark from this kick to Wembley. Dives and takes the mark. Maybe too far out to score. Dumps it long, very long. Touched on the line by Petrie. It's a goal, the difference.
They needed a point.
54 seconds left.
Would have preferred the goal, but they needed at least a score to put them within one kick.
And they've gone man on man.
Have to.
In the kick-outs.
Well, given West Coast season, they would almost be happy with a draw. Get something from this game.
Too many players sitting off opponents here.
Looks like a lack of communications there.
Well, it's a lack of discipline.
There was a zone up, but half the team had gone man on man, so that was poor.
You don't zone with less than a minute left when you need the ball.
Well, North Melbourne could rush 3 more behinds if they wanted to. Harris thumps it wide. Boundary line or Hale or win. Hale. And that you would think would do it.
Yep.
That's great effort from Hale. If he's had a rocket during the week from his coach, which was alluded to, he's kicked 3 goals, 1, had 15 touches, been a very good player.
Thumps it long. Nathan Thompson there. The seconds tick. You heard the call. They continue to tick. Glass to Rosa. They need a mark from this. Players fly. Siren. A gutsy, hard-fought, stunning in the end win for North Melbourne. Came from 20 points down and keep their chances of a top 4 finish this year alive. That's the good news story. The bad news story is that the West Coast Eagles season has barely got a pulse, and they're still only percentage off bottom spot on the ladder.
It's also 7 in a row, Dwayno. Their worst ever consecutive loss streak was 2001. They lost 8 in a row, so they're only 1 behind that now. And I know you'll have the draw in front of you.
Well, this is the worst start that the West Coast Eagles have ever had under John Worsfold, and that's the unfortunate part for the West Coast Eagles and John Worsfold, who is a gun as a coach, John Worsfold, and maybe they can still resurrect it from here. But next week they have Adelaide at Subiaco, the West Coast. Downstairs, Rowan Smith.
Well, Adam, a pretty good win in the end.
Yeah, a bit rusty, I think. You know, did want to get over the line, but we need to improve, I think.
Is it from the week off, do you think? The boys are a little bit rusty?
Oh, no, look, I think they came to play. They play well up in Queensland, and they're a young, quick team. And we gave them a look in that second quarter, and, you know, I think the old heads probably got us over the line in the end.
Playing in spits and spurts, is it, like, I mean, do you think maybe a little bit of the talk coming up to Carrara, not a big crowd, do you think that maybe played on the mind of the boys?
That stuff doesn't worry us. I mean, actually, the crowd, it was all right. You know, it was a pretty good atmosphere, and we can't use that as an excuse. But, you know, we had a win, and, you know, we're 4.5 and 3 now, so we're in a good position.
Well done. Go and enjoy it.
Adam Simpson, as we mentioned during the call, he's a gun player, doesn't seek attention, doesn't have a massive ego, irons his own shirts, makes his own lunch. What a guy.
Look, he said the right things too. It was a bit of experience and composure at the right time. They've been in this situation so many times before, North Melbourne. The players know how to handle it, and they did it very well.
Strangely enough, I suppose they've played in front of small crowds like this as well, having played a lot of their games in Canberra, where 6,000 to 7,000 is roughly the crowd that they're used to, almost an atmosphere-less crowd.
Yeah, look, let's be honest. Crowd doesn't bother the players.
No.
You're there for 4 points. It doesn't matter if there's 1 person there or 100,000. You're there for 4 points, and the effort's the same.
They're such a well-drilled side, as you touched on. They're in this situation so often. They don't blow teams off the park, but they just find a way. They just find a way, and is their old heads that stand up. West Coast Eagles, for the most part, were pretty good.
Yep.
There's some good signs there. Some players had a bit of the ball. Maston, I think, he's a shining light for the club. And Josh Kennedy, I mean, hasn't played much football for the West Coast Eagles, or in his AFL career for that matter, but he looked lively with the 2 goals up forward.
And they have overcome the odds in some way, because the West Coast Eagles have a very good record against North Melbourne in recent years. In fact, they met twice last year and the West Coast won both games. This is the first of 3 games North Melbourne play here on the Gold Coast this year. They play St Kilda here in round 14. And then a game that should draw a massive crowd against Brisbane here in round 18.
You would think plenty of Brisbane Lions supporters would come down the highway to see that clash.
And one of the reasons the crowd was probably low is because of that AFL fixturing blunder of sorts. The Brisbane Lions played on television live here in Queensland tonight.
Absolutely, and that game you're talking about, those two sides, North Melbourne and Brisbane, could both be in the firing line for the finals and jockeying for position.
The important clash. Great news for the Kangaroos with a win up here. There was plenty to talk about. There was a quiet week. Yeah, there's a low crowd, but they just found a way to get over the line.
We've talked about the West Coast Eagles game against Adelaide next week at Subiaco. North Melbourne have the Bulldogs next Sunday at the Telstra Dome. It'll be Brett Harvey's 250th game, and that will be a big clash as well.
Absolutely. The Bulldogs have been tremendous. They're undefeated with 6.5 wins thus far. They take on Freo over at Subiaco tomorrow. But that'll be a great game, the Bulldogs and the Kangaroos. They just have a habit of getting the job done. North Melbourne, they did it again tonight at Gold Coast Stadium.
Players heading in for a sing of the song.
The unfortunate thing from a West Coast perspective, Lynchy said it before, a lot of promising signs, some good young players, but a great effort and you walk away with nothing.
And that hurts. That does hurt. It makes it a long trip across the country when you had almost an honourable loss. I mean, they turned the ball over at different times, but they were good. They worked hard through the midfield. Their normal names. I mean, Fletcher certainly has been a little bit down. He had 29 touches and worked pretty well. Ambling was very good off half-back. Yep. Cox. But, yeah, I just thought
promising signs,
couple of youngsters were good.
Promising signs, but the only thing that gets the confidence of players up is a win.
Well, without doubt, it makes a huge difference. Don't matter how you get the win, as long as you get over the line somehow.
And these guys have got a lot of confidence in getting a win. They know how to put it together.
North Melbourne, North Melbourne, out we come, out we come, out we come to play. Just for recreation's sake to pass the time away. Lots of fun, heaps of fun, enjoy yourselves today. North Melbourne boys are hard to beat when they come out to play. So join in the chorus and sing it one and all. Join in the chorus, North Melbourne's on the ball. Good old North Melbourne, the champions you'll agree. North Melbourne will be premiers, just you wait and see. Hey!
A fighting 1-goal win to North Melbourne here on the Gold Coast. We'll be back to wrap up straight after this. 13-11-89 to 12-11-83.
It's all said and done at Gold Coast Stadium, a quasi-home game for the North Melbourne Football Club, and in the end they did enough to get the points. A close match at just about every change. The Eagles got out to a 20-point lead at one stage, but North Melbourne kept coming, and in the end they did enough. 2 goals apiece in the final quarter. Under pressure, experienced heads getting the job done for North Melbourne. Hale with 3, Nathan Thompson, Shannon Grant both kicked 2 for North Melbourne. Staker, terrific early, 3 goals for the Eagles. Kennedy and Lynch both kicked 2. Look at those names for the Kangaroos. Simpson, Harris, Harvey, Rawlings, same old faces. They know how to get the job done. Fletcher with 29 at the most of any player on the ground. Embley terrific in defence with 25. Cox 24 and Prittis 22 for the West Coast Eagles. It was a seesawing match, Lynchy, in the last quarter. It was a game that could have gone either way, but we're just so used to seeing North Melbourne get it done in tight circumstances, just hitting targets when they need to, coming up with a goal when they need to, and not panicking under pressure.
Yeah, without doubt. I mean, their pre-claim account was up fairly high again, but when, as you said, when they need to get the job done, they just hit targets every time. And it was close to three-quarter time, but you just felt that the West Coast Eagles were going to drop off or just buckle to the pressure that North Melbourne were putting on.
They had their chances early, the West Coast Eagles. In the last quarter, they went forward a number of times, but unfortunately they couldn't convert, and that came back to haunt them.
We see these opportunities. That they had the ability to get the clearances out of the middle of the ground and go forward, but they just had to capitalise on these opportunities. See Embley there, absolutely disgusted with himself. Whereupon there is a beautiful shot on goal. He missed a chance. There was another miss as well. There was 3 points they kicked. They ended up converting an opportunity to keep them in the game, but just wasn't enough. And at the other end, you know, guys like Daniel Wells could go forward and make the most of their opportunities, which were limited early in that quarter.
Yeah, we mentioned that it was the difference of who was going to take the opportunities when they needed to take them. McKinley, he worked hard. He got the 50-metre penalty from Drew Petrie. You could see the frustration on his face. McKinley's a beautiful set shot. We were watching him warm up tonight, and he didn't miss a beat, and he was able to convert under pressure. And it was a little bit of toing and froing. We saw some pretty good efforts at all parts of the ground. Here's just a little bit too long from Dean Cox. Campbell snaffles it up, kicks a goal from a half opportunity.
And we saw that a lot, especially in the last quarter from the Kangaroos, where they put an enormous amount of pressure on the defenders for the West Coast Eagles and made it hard for them to hit targets when running off half-back. They were very desperate, they chased and tackled, and the West Coast, they just wilted under the continual pressure from the Kangaroos, and they made the most of it there and got up for a, you see the players, absolutely ecstatic to get that win under the belt after a disappointing loss to the Crows last time.
Even when the final siren went, it was West Coast going forward, and it was North Melbourne getting that spoil done, making sure that a mark wasn't taken, so that there'd be no kick after the siren to actually force a draw. We mentioned a couple of great matchups for West Coast. Mark Nikoski and Andrew Embley did a great job on those 2 little terrors up forward for the Kangaroos in Lindsay Thomas and also Matty Campbell. But Lindsay Thomas put in a pretty decent cameo appear in Sydney with this hanger.
Yeah, and he really struggled to get his hand on the ball for most of the day, but we just thought his work ethic off the ball was good, but that's what you come to the football for. The ability to jump almost straight up on a guy that's 6 foot tall, take a great catch, and I slaughtered him in the end there and said he'd go back and kick it, and he kicked the point, so that was a bit of bad luck.
Now, we're deep in consultation with Jill Lindsay prior to the start of the match, just checking out the lightning policy. Storms ripped through the area, and we thought, well, if there's going to be a delay, what are the rules? And we had all those permutations correct. The lightning actually cleared up, but the lights didn't clear up. Have a look at this. One of the light towers went out. And that created a few problems because a little section of the ground went dark.
It did. It certainly dropped out. And I mean, if we had a couple of other lights go out as well, they might have had to call the game off if they couldn't rectify it. And the scores were level. I think the West Coast Eagles would have been happy to take that after the end result. But yeah, interesting situations. Had a lot of bad weather in the southeast corner of Queensland over the last half a dozen hours, but it just didn't hit Carrara. So we're pretty lucky in the end.
Kangaroos, they consolidate a spot in the top 8. We heard Adam Simpson, their skipper, after the game say, pretty ordinary tonight, but just the old heads got them over the line. What do you make of them?
Well, I think they continue to get the job done. But they've got effective forwards. I mean, Thompson leads at the ball. Petrie can play forward and back. You know, Jones can kick goals. Grant always kicks goals. They've just got... And Hale went forward and kicked goals. They seem like a pretty complete combination. They had Pratt out, who was injured during the week at training. He goes across half-back, and with Gibson back in the side, they're a good side. They've got class through the midfield. It's going to be hard to knock them out. Don't know whether they can go the whole way, but it's certainly a respected top 5 or 6 team.
Well, winners are grinners. Let's head down to the rooms. Rowan Smith is with the coach of North Melbourne. I don't know if he's quite grinning, but they got the point, Smithy.
Yeah, they certainly did, Jason. And I spoke to Adam Simpson after the game. He said it was a little bit rusty, but 4 points is 4 points, team.
Yeah, that's right. Look, and I was really pleased in the end. We lost Alan Obbs. You know, he's got a punctured lung in hospital at quarter time. He got it early in the game. So to be 21 men down, and I was really pleased with Riggio and Lower and Thomas and McMahon and Campbell. You know, again, they were very good, and I thought Hale and McIntosh were very good. So, you know, a lot of our younger guys are injured at the moment, but we probably found another player tonight in Matt Riggio. It's taken a while to come through, and we've been working with him really hard so he can play in the midfield. And tonight he kicked the ball really well, which is something we really need in the midfield.
And it's pretty tough conditions out there as well, and the boys' skills are pretty good.
Yeah, well, as you can see, both sides were out on their feet. There was a lot of rain early, and you know, it was pretty slippery. And sometimes in the coach's box, you can forget that they've been running around for 2 hours, and you can get a bit uptight about, you know, sometimes some of their ball delivery. But you know, they stuck at it, and we got over the line, which is terrific.
Well, thanks for your time, and hope you enjoyed the win, mate.
No worries, we will. Thanks.
And it's back to you, boys.
Thanks, Smithy. There was a wry grin there from Dean Laley. Here's the final scores at the Telstra Dome, and a big win to the Brisbane Lions. 5-5, but it wasn't enough. Look on the other side of the battle, Jonathan Brown He kicked 6. Travis Johnson back in for the Lions. He kicked 3. So a 33-point win to the Brisbane Lions, and they keep coming in 2008. Lindsay, they're not out of it.
No, certainly not. I mean, they've got the two big power forwards in Bradshaw and Brown. Daniel Merritt does usually a good job down back, and their midfield rotations, Black's in great form. If they can get Nigel Lappin in to complement the youngsters, they'll go thereabouts.
What about West Coast Eagles? They're now 1-7. They've lost 7 on the trot. It's a long uphill battle now for them.
Yeah, I mean, obviously over the last 12 months they've had a lot of disruptions. They've had players leave the club. Yeah, they're going through a cultural change basically at the club, and they've bottomed out, I would hope, and so there's some good kids there and plenty to like about them in the future.
Well, a good result at Gold Coast Stadium for the North Melbourne Football Club. They came, they conquered, they got the 4 points, they beat West Coast by a goal. They consolidated their spot in the top 8. For now, from the Gold Coast, it's good night.
This has been a Fox Sports production.